presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are the West.
The Texas Rangers are back in Arlington for one final homestand of the 2017 season. Tonight, Andrew Cashner takes the mound, looking for a career-high 11th win. But he'll have to do it against this year's AL West division winner. You're watching Rangers baseball presented by AT&T. And a warm, lovely Monday night here at the ballpark. Welcome into Globe Life Park. Opening game of this final homestand of the season. The Houston Astros in town. The Silver Boot on the line these next 3 nights here in Arlington. And hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Raymond alongside Mr. Ranger Tom Grieve. And look, the Rangers very happy to be back home. It was a tough road trip out west. Their elimination number now down to 2. There's still hope. They're still alive. The Twins not playing today. So a must-win spot, as always, for this Rangers team against a very good Astros team, among the best in the American League.
Yeah, and when you look at the American League, Dave, it's kind of top-heavy. There's only 5 teams in the league over 500. The 3 best teams are the Indians, the Astros, and the Red Sox. The Indians have a 2.5-game lead on the Astros for the best record in the American League. They've gone 29-2. The Astros have been playing great in September, but still losing ground to the Indians as far as the best record goes. Red Sox 27 games over. You got the Yankees 17 games over, and the Twins. After that, everybody's 500 or less.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been a really weird year in the American League. Now, when you look at what we can expect in this series, really interesting probable starters for all 3 games in this series. Some Cy Young, some World Series MVPs in this thing. Should be a fun series.
It should. There's some excellent pitching in this series. The Astros have really strengthened their staff. They've got starters that go 7 or 8 deep almost. Tonight it's Colin McHugh, who's gone 46-28 with the Astros in his 4 years with them. Dallas Keuchel's 13-5 this year. Justin Verlander, since he came over in 4 starts, is 4-0 with an 0.64 ERA. He's really energized the whole Astros team. I think if you look at those starters, the marquee matchup is Keuchel and Hamels in tomorrow night's ball game, 24-9 together. Tonight, though, for the Rangers, it's Andrew Cashner, who has probably been the Rangers' most consistent starter from day one. In his last start, he pitched very well against the Astros. Back on the 13th, he had 7 innings, 6 hits, and 2 runs in this ballpark. Last 13 starts, he's gone 7-3 with a 3.05 ERA, and at home in 12 starts, he has an ERA under 3. So he's pitching well all season long, pitching well in this ballpark, and he's pitched well recently against the Astros.
Yeah, so that should be fun tonight, and a night where they really need him to pitch well against this Astros team. The Rangers hoping to get a good start out of Andrew Cashner. Well, back off that road trip, we know Adrian Beltre is a very good ball player. He's a future Hall of Famer. He was one of the few that really had it going on the road trip, but wait till you see what he has done against the Astros when we put him in the spotlight. AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, back here at Globe Life Park, you guys getting ready to go tonight. Final homestand of the regular season. And the Rangers in must-win mode, but they seem pretty loose tonight. We're talking about Adrian Beltre as we went to break. Let's put him in our Shiner Bach spotlight. He has been so good this year against the Houston Astros. I guess that should come as a little surprise.
Yeah, Adrian has always played well against the Astros. He's a .309 career hitter against them. This year in 12 games, he's hit .429. There's only several players who have hit better against an opponent this year than Adrian has hit against the Astros. He's also knocked in 12 runs in 12 games. Adrian hasn't played regularly all season long because he's been hurt. He's only played in 90-plus games, but he's having the kind of season that you would expect him to have, pretty much typical of his best seasons when you look at the overall numbers.
So there's Adrian set to go. Now he's facing Colin McHugh tonight, and you look at his numbers against McHugh, 17 at bats. He has reached 9 times. So he's been very good in that regard as well. Hey, guess who else is with us tonight? We say hello for the first time this evening to Emily Jones.
Thanks, Dave. And you know, Adrian Beltre is the heart and soul of this Rangers team. Talked to him after that disappointing sweep in Oakland. Asked him if he just felt like at this point this team has just taken on too much and is not able to overcome the adversity that it's faced pretty much all season. And he said, no, this is a team that needs to win baseball games. And as long as we're in it, we're going to play like we're in it. And even if we're out of it, we're still going to play hard, because that's what this team has to do. The younger guys needing to learn that losing is not acceptable, and that this team needs to continue to play hard regardless of what that elimination number is, regardless of if they fall out of contention officially or not. So Adrian Beltre very strong in his words as far as how this team needs to handle its business from here on out.
Thanks, Emily. Just another reminder, Tom, of how important a guy he is, win or lose.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you would expect Adrian to say, the kind of leader that he is, the way he's played his whole career. And his teammates know that. They've watched him play this year when he's been hurt. They've watched him play in games that very few people in baseball, very few players would be in a ball game with the kind of injuries that he's had. So when he talks, they listen. And he's that kind of leader for the Rangers.
Well, so he will be part of the attack tonight for the Rangers, but the attack for the Astros, 95 wins and 60 losses this year, running away with the division. Springer, Altuve, Carlos Correa up at the top, and he has been very good against the Rangers. Gonzalez, Gaddis, Bregman. Carlos Beltran still in there as the DH, but batting 7th tonight. White and Derek Fisher rounding it out.
Take a look at the Ford pitch arsenal for Andrew Cashner. Andrew likes to pound the strike zone with his fastball 64% of the time. He'll throw mostly sinking fastballs, but occasionally he'll tune it up at 97 miles an hour up in the strike zone to get a swing and a miss. He also has a good changeup. He has a slider and a curveball that he mixes up about the same amount of time. But basically in an at-bat, you can count on getting a fastball from Andrew Cashner. And just because you might be looking for a fastball doesn't mean that it's going to be easy to hit, because he locates it well and he has very good movement and really good velocity to go along with it.
Well, he's set to go. Expecting to get one more start after this one tonight, and his first pitch is rolled right up the middle, a base hit for George Springer.
And second base.
Springer's having a nice season as usual for the Astros. He gets a sinking fastball, stayed up. Andrew got the ground ball that he likes to get with his sinking fastball. Unfortunately, it was tapped right straight up the middle for a base hit. Springer brings a lot to the table as a leadoff hitter. He's really not a base stealing threat, but he can run. Speed, power. He gets on base. Very, very impressive leadoff hitter.
Well, he bats ahead of this guy, Jose Altuve, who is an impressive baseball player. Let's just go ahead and cover everything when we talk about Jose Altuve, leading the American League with that .348 batting average. Another huge year for the smallest players in the game, and he Sends this one into left field. Back-to-back singles to get things started for the Astros tonight.
Batting third is shortstop, number 1, Carlos Correa.
Take a look at the Ranger defense for tonight's ball game. Carlos Gomez, not 100%, but he's in center field, flanked by Shin-Soo Choo and Nomar Mazara. It's Elvis and Rugi up the middle. Middlebrooks at third, Gallo at first, and Robinson Chirinos behind the plate. The Ranger defense is delivered to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance.
So a couple of quick base runners for the Astros, just 3 pitches into this ball game. And now we get into the heart of this Houston order. Carlos Correa, third place hitter, better than 300 average this year, an on-base percentage of .380. And he was going after that one.
And one of the things you deal with as a sinker ball pitcher, not really a strikeout pitcher, is you're going to get ground balls. And sometimes they find holes, and that's what's happened to Springer and Altuve. They each hit ground balls. They each found a hole. That's just one of the things you deal with.
High fly ball. This one into right field. Chu is there. Runners will tag, and Springer, the good athlete you talked about earlier, able to move up to third base.
And the thing you count on as a sinker ball pitcher, a power sinker ball pitcher, is that you get another ground ball that goes right at somebody and you turn a double play, get right out of the inning.
Cashner asking for a new baseball. 1 out. And the Astros have runners on the corners now. It'll bring up their cleanup hitter tonight, left fielder Marwin Gonzalez. And you do have to check your lineup card every day to see exactly where Marwin Gonzalez is playing, because they will use him just about everywhere. Tops on this Astros team with 82 RBIs.
Now, Correa's been hurt. Otherwise, he might be leading the team in RBIs. But even with that being the case, with Springer, Altuve, Beltran, the rest of the hitters in the lineup, Gaddis for that matter, I don't think at the beginning of the year anyone expected Marwin Gonzalez to be leading this team in RBIs. He's just having a huge season. By far his biggest season as a professional.
Boy, if there's one team that might have some huge respect for this guy this year, it would be the Rangers too, because he has done so much of that damage, it seems, against Texas. He's been really big for them. 1 strike pitch fouled away. Cashner ahead 0-2. Talking about him being versatile. Look at this. A lot of first base. More time at shortstop than anywhere else, but they've used him both at second and third base. A lot of time at left field, but he's also played center and right. He just hasn't caught or pitched. And maybe one day, who knows? Maybe they'll go all Bert Campaneris on us and play him everywhere in one game. He could certainly do it. And he swings and misses strike 3, so 2 gone here in the first inning.
Yeah, that might be one of those cases where Andrew went away from the sinker, his 2-seam fastball, and aired it out with his 4-seam fastball. Well, actually, that is a 2-seam fastball. He just threw it 95 miles an hour, and you can see, even though it's high in the strike zone, it had that tailing action that really made it almost impossible for Gonzalez to make contact. So if you're going to get a strikeout, first and third and 1 out, that's when you want to go for it. And Gonzalez has been a very good hitter, but he's a little bit overmatched with that last pitch.
Well, now Evan Gaddis, and he swings and hits one out to left field. That one carrying pretty well, but Mazara able to track it down and complete a scoreless inning for Andrew Cashner, who works around a couple of leadoff hits. first 2 hits. Now the Rangers will take a look at Colin McHugh. First, though, our Southwest starting lineup. Chu up top in right field. Andrus, Mazzara, Beltre, and Elvis having one of those great years. Just a little shy of 200 hits. Gallo, Gomez, Odor, Robinson Chirinos bats 8th today, and Will Middlebrooks will start at 3rd.
And on the mound, Colin McHugh for the Astros. We'll take a look at the Ford pitch arsenal for Colin. He'll throw a fastball, about an average fastball, maybe a tick below average at 90 miles an hour, about half the time. He has a good curveball, good slider, and a cutter. 3 different variations of a breaking ball. A little slower curveball, in between slider, and a cutter more like a fastball that just cuts a few inches. A good assortment of pitches. Pretty good idea how to pitch. Not a guy you'd expect to go deep into the ball game, but a guy that'll give you a representative start frequently. Pitched well in his last 5 starts, 1.82 ERA. He's had a couple of starts in his last 5 where he hasn't pitched deeply into a ball game. He only had 3 innings in one of them and 4 1/3 in another.
1 strike pitch to Chu, and he swings and misses. 0-2 the count.
And when you talk good curveballs, there's one of them right there. This guy's got a really good curveball. Not a lot of pitchers in the league that can spin a curveball like that.
Fastball up and away. 1-2 the count. Chu yesterday 0 for 3 in the finale in Oakland. Had 8 hits on the road trip, hit 3 home runs, 1 at each stop. In Anaheim, Seattle, and in Oakland. That one pushes him off the plate. He really was one of the more productive hitters on that trip. I would say Chu and Adrian Beltre. Outside of that, it was a tough roadie for this Rangers team. Good curveball, but that one misses in. McHugh, meanwhile, a guy you could argue sort of pitching for his postseason life. They've got a crowded rotation all of a sudden in Houston, and it's kind of hard to figure where McHugh might fit in that way. With the addition of Justin Verlander at the end of August, Cullers has been good and healthy. Dallas Keuchel, Dallas Keuchel. They don't all need to be Mooks, but
Lance Cullers.
Yeah. But they are, I mean, you got a couple of Cy Young Award-winning pitchers in that rotation already.
You got a guy
Brad
like
Peacock's been unbelievable.
Yeah, you got a guy we talked about like McHugh, a guy like Mike Fiers, who has 150 plus innings and has been solid all year long. And it doesn't look like there's any way they're going to be in the postseason rotation.
Charlie Morton. I mean, they've got a lot of guys that you could make arguments for.
Take a look at the Astros defense. George Springer, who you're looking at right there, will be in center field today. Marwin Gonzalez is in left. Derek Fisher will play right field. It's Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa up the middle. Doesn't get any better than that double play combination. Alex Bregman is at third. Tyler White is over at first base, and behind the plate is Evan Gattis.
A 1 out for Elvis Andrus. And there's a good breaking ball for strike 1. Elvis see 86 RBIs. He's had a big year in terms of run production. Tapper back by the mound, but Altuve from second base right there to back it up, and Andrus retired 2 away.
And third, the outfielder, number 30.
We'll bring up Nomar Mazzara. Wasn't a lot to cheer for yesterday offensively for the Rangers, but Nomar got into one anyway.
Nomar got a good fastball, good velocity anyway, right down the middle of the plate, launched it over the 388 sign. Gave him 20 home runs on the season. Still knocking at the door for 100 RBIs. He has 97, 10th in the league right now. He got a great shot to knock in 100 runs this year. That'd be a nice accomplishment for the young player.
Want to be 22 years old and just your second year in the big leagues, and to drive in 100 runs, yeah. That would look pretty good on a resume. He'll get a real good internship next year.
Looking at the Ranger notes, there haven't been many teams that have had in the history of baseball 3 players 23 years old or younger hit 20 or more home runs. The Rangers have done that with Mazzara, with Gallo, and with Odor.
That ball smashed down to the right field corner and just off the top of the fence. And Mazzara hit that one too hard to get an extra base out of it. He'll have to hold with a 2-out single.
That really was hit hard. It looked like a double down the line that might bounce 20 or 30 feet from the wall. And it was hit toward the little wedgie right down there, which doesn't take a lot of distance, but it takes a little bit of height, which that ball didn't have. That was just a line shot right down the line, smashed off the wall. And Fisher in right field played the carom well enough to hold Nomar at first base with a bullet of a single down the line. That had to be 110, 11, 12 mile-an-hour exit speed.
Now Adrian Beltre, he'll take one low. Good. So we're already started on the guessing game. I love this because you've gotten very good at this year.
I like to play that guessing game.
110.
110. Okay. I thought it might have been a tick higher than that.
Goes to show how hard it is to get it a lot harder.
Yeah, when you
than
think of the
110.
guys that are popping them up there at 117 to 119, not too many of them, but Joey Gallo's been in that league occasionally. I'm sure Judge and Stanton have been in that league. Nelly Cruz maybe, just to mention 3 or 4 guys that can do that. But that's as hard as a human being can hit a baseball. What's the highest this year? 119?
Probably right in that range, yeah.
Let's say it's 119. Suffice it to say that that's as hard as anyone in the world can hit a baseball.
Well, 3 balls and no strikes to Adrian Beltre. Man on, 2 out here in the first inning. Adrian with 17 home runs and 70 RBIs this year. Very limited time, all things considered. He takes a strike.
I think when you look at Adrian's numbers, and if you projected it over a healthy season of 150 games, let's say, he'd be hitting 310, 30 home runs, and 110, 115 RBIs.
That ball hit high in the air out into short right field. I don't think Fisher could see it.
No, he couldn't.
Altuve did, and he hauls it in. So the inning is done. Rangers leave a man, and we've played a scoreless inning tonight here in Arlington. Tonight as we get ready to go here in the second inning. How about our Kubota power stats for Andrew Kashner? Real nice job in that first inning. Look what he has done against right-handed starters. Last 5 starts, right-handers hitting 130 against him with a 526 OPS, which is on base plus slugging. That's stingy.
Yeah, there's been some right-hand hitters in his last 5 starts who have walked away from their at-bat shaking their hands with sore hands, sore thumbs, and sore fingers. A couple right-hand hitters had hits in the first inning, though. Springer and Altuve rolled ground balls through the infield.
Well, Alex Bregman takes one off the plate. 1-1 the count. Tom, I want to go back to something we were discussing last inning. We were discussing exit velocity.
Yes.
And you become somewhat of a savant at guessing these things.
Not quite.
2-0. This one fouled back. So the hardest hit ball this year, you said, you know what, probably like what, 119. That would be the second hardest ball for Carlos Stanton. The hardest, how about this? Aaron Judge, 121 miles per hour.
Wow. Well, when you look at those guys, they look like action figures. And so to have them as the top 2 guys on the list is certainly not a surprise. And for the rest of the guys that are even close to those guys, it's pretty impressive. And Joey Gallo's right there with him. I think Joey's 117, wasn't he? 117, maybe 118,
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, I will find that for you. There's nothing you can't find anymore. 2-2 pitch. Just off the plate. Good fastball there from Cashner. 95 miles per hour.
If a third baseman is playing even with the bag and someone hits one 121 miles an hour at him, I don't care who you are, Brooks Robinson, Adrian Beltre, you name it, you are going to be fighting to be able to catch that ball.
This one just blooped over third into left field. Mazzara with a good play to cut it off quickly and get it back. Holds Bregman to a single. Well, this Wednesday will be your final chance to enjoy dollar hot dogs this season, courtesy of Texas Chili Company. Don't miss the last time the Rangers take on the Astros. Final game of this 3-game series, a 105 start. And you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Bring some singles. The hot dogs are $1 each. Well, the designated hitter for the Astros is Carlos Beltran. Switch hitter who is still kind of held his own as a left-handed hitter. He's become much less effective right-handed. But this guy, when you take a look at the way this Astros team evolved from last year to this year, such a different style team now, especially offensively. And whomever you talk to, that guy, A.J. Hinch, their manager, you talk to the guys in that lineup, they're all going to tell you the glue guy, the one guy who kind of keeps it all together is Beltran, despite much lower numbers than we've been accustomed to seeing from him over the course of his career.
Well, the Rangers saw that when he came here. You get a lot more than just what the statistical page says when you get a guy like this. And over the last couple of years, that's something the Astros have missed. They've had talent, really sterling young talent, but they haven't had veteran leadership. And this year they went out and brought it here. Whether it's Beltran, Reddick, McCann, they've got that kind of guy now.
Chopper shortstop. They'll go to second one. The relay to first, not in time. Beltran beats it out. That thing was hit very slowly to shortstop, but Bregman cleaned off the bases, and there's one away.
Now, a little bit too high of a chopper. Elvis had to lay back and catch it on that big hop, which, even though Beltran doesn't run like he used to, you're not going to be able to turn a double play on very many players on that kind of a ball. You go back 10 or 12 years and you wouldn't even begin to think you were going to make a throw if Beltran was the runner.
Tyler White takes ball one. So the number for White. It's just his 17th game. But when given an opportunity this year, he has taken advantage of it. That's his ball out toward right field. Chu racing back. He'll get there and make the catch. They're 2 away. Well, the way Chu had to pursue that ball for a moment, you thought, uh-oh, maybe White got more of that than I thought.
I think he hit it pretty well. I think there might have been some nights during the season where that ball might have carried a little bit better than that. Chu got back on it plenty of time to make the catch easily.
So 2 gone. And now Derek Fisher.
As we come to expect with Andrew Cashner, he's doing pretty much what he always does, and that's pound the strike zone. He's only thrown 21 pitches to 8 batters, 16 strikes, and only 5 balls. And occasionally you're not going to get that fastball on the first pitch. You're going to get a breaking ball. I'm Derek Fisher, and I've watched the other hitters. I'd probably go up there and look for a fastball too. Right when you're almost positive that that's what he's going to throw, breaks off that curveball.
1 strike pitch. Bounced foul. 0-2. Cashner was very good in the first inning. Gave up a couple of hits, but it was just on 3 pitches. He needed 9 pitches to get through that first inning. He's been efficient. And boy, this year, you said it, probably the most consistent starter the Rangers have had from start to finish this year. His 27th start of the year, 10 wins, 10 losses, and a .344 earned run average.
A little bit of a slow start with his injury, and when he came back, you have to think his first couple of starts were more like end of spring training starts as far as his body goes and really being where he wanted to be. And after he got a couple of games under his belt, he's been very consistent.
Strike 3 called. So he gets a strikeout of Fisher, second of the night for Andrew Cashner. And after 1.5, we have no score. Cashner, a couple of hits so far today, has a fastball working, and he's put up 2 scoreless. Tonight, and some good pitching to go with it. Hey, Texas high school football is in full swing, in case you weren't aware of that. Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football, brings you the most comprehensive coverage of Texas high school football around the state. Join us 8 o'clock, Fox Sports Southwest Plus, or live stream on Fox Sports Go every Friday at 8 p.m. Here's Joey Gallo. It'll be Gallo, Carlos Gomez, and Rougned Odor in this second inning. Ooh, and that ball hit hard. Way out there to left field, and it is gone. And there's another massive shot by Joey Gallo, his 39th of the year.
So many guys in today's game have power and can hit a home run. And you even see a lot of guys that hit opposite field home runs, way more now than you ever did before. But not many guys hit opposite field home runs this far. That's a changeup. You can see the grip on it. It stays up, and Joey timed it. And not only went to the opposite field over the fence, which would be about 395 feet, but it went over the bullpen and into the seats behind the bullpen, probably 430 feet, 435 feet. So you'll see a lot more opposite field home runs today than ever before. But in spite of that, you don't see many hit that far to the opposite field.
Well, a nice start now to this one. 1-0. Rangers on top. What'd you say? 435-ish?
Yeah.
442.
442. Wow.
What about the exit velocity on that one?
Well, if Nomar hit his 110, it had to be a little harder than 110. So I'd go like 112.
113.
113. Generally, you know, it's funny. Generally, you don't think of a ball going off the bat 112 to 116 miles an hour.
Gomez and McHugh having some words. And you remember this earlier, Tom, when we were in Houston, opening series of the year. McHugh was hurt, and he was the guy up on the top step who was yelling out at Gomez, who wasn't really involved in the time at that little push and shove session that they had out of midfield. And I think this one's been percolating for a little while. Well, everybody out to say hello, and hopefully that's all this one is. Well, everybody sorting things out. A little exercise for all involved. This, you know, look, there's been tension between these two teams now, and there will continue to be, no doubt. It's a great in-state rivalry. One that this year anyway, the Astros dominated early. The Rangers have come back to dominate a little bit, and now our arbiters are going to get together and discuss how to handle it from here.
Well, Carlos went through a fairly long stretch where he was being plunked regularly.
Oh.
You know, and it gets to the point where you can't read a pitcher's mind. You don't know exactly what's going on. But after a while, it doesn't really matter what the intent is, if there's intent. You've been drilled so many times that you just get sick of it. And I can't blame Carlos for feeling that way.
It looks like we're getting warnings from our umpires, and McHugh's coming out to say, well, hang on a second, what am I getting warned for? But I think the explanation there, Paul Nauert, plate umpire, getting involved along with Dana DeMuth, our third base umpire and crew chief. Yeah, A.J. Hinch says, come on. But I think the idea here, Tom, is let's get out in front of this one. And that's really smart. And I'll tell you, the one guy who should be happiest about that is A.J. Hinch. I mean, he's got much more going on. He doesn't need guys getting hurt. He doesn't need guys getting ejected.
No.
Or suspended. So he should have a smile on his face.
Hopefully that scrum is the extent of what we see in that direction.
So now Gomez is ready. And he'll foul this one away. 1-2 the count. So let's go back to try and diagnose this one, Tom.
Well, this is before the at-bat ever started, when Carlos gets into the batter's box. He pounded the plate and broke his back and had to go get another one.
Strike three call. Carlos, an emotional guy, we know that. And he goes down looking, and now can take a little time to get himself ready for his next start.
Well, McHugh throws his sinker and hits the bottom of the strike zone and gets the call from Paul Nauert.
All right, one away. And it brings up Rougned Odor. And show and bunt. Odor, you see the numbers, up over 30 home runs. The on-base percentage, very low one. The average, certainly a good piece lower than he would have wanted or anyone could have expected this year. 1-1 the count. Roogie, definitely a better hitter at home than he is on the road. And you look at those overall numbers, those certainly colored by he plays every single day. But it was basically an historic season on the road for him, and not in a real good way. Fouls this away, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, and this is the kind of at bat that I'm not sure how the at bat will end, but Rudy's had 2 great swings at 2 pitches right down the middle of the plate. And you kind of say to yourself, man, I hope I get another one, but I've missed a couple of great opportunities in this at bat.
Hughes 1-2 pitch. Ooh,
well, that's a tough one to lay off of.
2-2 the count. Odor at home has a nearly 300 on base percentage. And a batting average right around 250. Full count now. So those numbers, you start talking about a 250 hitter getting on base around a 300 clip, and with the power that he has, well, that is a very valuable guy in today's game. The fact of the matter is, on the road, the numbers were so rough this year. They really pulled the overall tallies down to a point where you look askance at some of those numbers this season. And it's inside, ball 4. He'll take the 1-out walk.
Dave, we don't do birthdays anymore, but I'm going to make an exception tonight. I want to wish a happy birthday to Vera Shepard. She lives in a nursing home in Cedar Hill, and yesterday she was 100 years old. And I understand that Vera is a huge Ranger fan that watches almost all the games. And so, Vera, I hope you're watching tonight in Cedar Hill, and if you are, please accept our congratulations on your 100th birthday. I hope it was a great day for you yesterday, and hope the Rangers get a win tonight for you.
"100 years old."
100.
Aren't we all? Boy, I'll tell you what, that's awesome.
The Rangers, I might call her almost the Rangers' #1 fan, Elizabeth Sullivan from Fort Worth. She's 106.
It's just incredible.
I started writing back and forth to Elizabeth Sullivan when she was like in her low 90s.
Yeah.
And you might think you might do it for 1 or 2 years or so.
Sure.
And that's been like 20 years. So we've got some women in their later years who love Ranger baseball. Carolyn Schaefer is another one. She's 93 or 94. She lives in Athens, Texas. She's a poet, watches all our games. That's my demographic, Dave.
You know my takeaway from this, though, Tom?
What?
Rangers baseball is good for your health.
There you go.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
That pretty much simplifies it right there. If you want to live a long, prosperous, healthy life, watch Ranger baseball.
Just tune in. Here's a swing and a miss, and Chirinos strikes out for the 2nd out of the inning.
Batting ninth, the third baseman, number 15, Will Middlebrooks.
Go back to Carlos's at bat. Yeah, Carlos, I'm sure, went up to the plate knowing how many times he's been thrown at and not being too happy, even though that was just a pitch that pushed him off the plate a little bit.
Middlebrooks bloops one out toward right field, and that one drops in, base hit. Odor hustling to third. The Rangers have him on the corners, and you can see the continued struggle for Rougned Odor with that ankle. But he's been playing through it real well lately. Great to see Middlebrooks get in there and come up with a hit.
That's a good tailing fastball that got in on Will's fists, but he punched it over first. And this is Rugi doing his best to get over to third base. He's not 100%, but I think Rugi right now has a goal of playing in every game, and he's going to make every effort to play this last week in spite of the fact that he's not feeling that well.
Now Chu with a chance to drive in a Rangers run. Already lead 1-0 on the home run by Gallo.
Go back and look at that at bat we just showed with when Carlos took the pitch inside and then got a fastball to hit, had a great swing and fouled it back. That's one of those opportunities to have the last say in an at bat. Had a great swing at it, just wasn't able to connect on it.
Bouncer first base, they'll call that a fair ball. So White will take it to the bag himself. The inning is over. But the Rangers get the scoring started tonight. And Joey Gallo left no doubt about it. A bomb to left field. It's 1-0. Offense in this one as we head to the third inning. Top of the order for the Houston Astros. Springer, who singled on the first pitch he saw. That's how the game started, but since then Cashner's been very solid. He's gotten a verdict early in the counts as he misses outside to Springer. 25 pitches through the first 2 innings for Andrew. Two and 0. You look at those numbers at the bottom of your screen for Springer. Leadoff hitter, 33 home runs and 80 RBIs. What a weapon he has been for the Houston Astros. And there was a time in our game, Tom, when if you had 33 home runs and a 280, 285 batting average, you were batting fourth or third in every major league lineup. The 80s, forget about it. There's no chance you were leading off. The game has changed.
One thing Springer has done in his career is he's lowered his strikeout rate every year. In fact, since the All-Star break, he's in a group of 5 or 6 people who have actually struck out the least. When he first started, he was very prone to the strikeout. He took a 100% maximum effort swing, no matter what the count was. And he was a little bit prone to the strikeout, but gradually as time has gone on, he still swings hard, but he's cut his strikeouts down dramatically.
Chops one towards second. Odor is right there. One away.
He struck out 170, 180 times last year, and he's not going to do that this year. His strikeout rate now is probably about 18 or 20%. It was probably over 30% when he first started. So that's a nice improvement in the overall game of a really nice young player.
Ed Wade, when he was general manager in Houston, the man who drafted Springer in the first round, and at the time, not necessarily because he was such a great baseball player, he saw a great overall athlete. Springer's mom is a gymnast, and Springer did a lot of gymnastics growing up as a kid. Just full body strength, great balance. We see it when you see him chasing fly balls and catching them over the wall stuff. This is a guy with just incredible body control and overall athleticism, and it's interesting to see his numbers, some of those rate numbers, getting better and better as he is still learning the game, and he's already one of the best in the game.
Yeah, to me, when you come into the game with that resume as an athlete and you strike out a lot, and then 4 years later, 3 or 4 years later, you can cut your strikeout rate down by 50% or so. That's pretty impressive. Maybe not 50%, but almost 50%. That's a dramatic improvement, and that's really unusual, I think. Not many players are able to do that. He reminds me a lot, athletic-wise, of Ian Desmond. Similar body, similar speed, similar attributes on a baseball field. Kind of guys that when you look at him, you say, well, he could have been point guard, could have been a wide receiver, could have been a safety, whatever the sport was. He could have excelled in it.
Altuve under the impression that he had ball 4, but it's a full count. Altuve, our TXU Energy power player to watch, and for good reason. Look at his road average. We were talking earlier about Odor and his struggles on the road. Quite the opposite. Altuve, one of the best seasons all time on the road, and flares that one over second. What a play by Odor. Wow. Got out there and took one away from his opposite number.
Yeah, he's not 100%, obviously. You can tell it when he runs the bases. But on that kind of a play where it's a reaction play, he's not thinking about whether he's hurt or not. He's just thinking about catching that ball. And he got a quick first step and a lunge and was able to make the play on this. He's not thinking about how bad his leg feels right now. He just wanted to catch that ball and take the hit away from Altuve. Nice play. Cashner likes it. He's thinking, oh no, there's a little blooper for a base hit.
Always good to get a little help. Carlos Correa, right-handed hitter, in the 1-0 pitch. Just off the plate. Correa, a guy who missed a good chunk of time this year on the disabled list. When he came back off the DL, he hit just 133, had 4 hits in his first 7 games back. He was activated on September 3rd. Remember, he tore a ligament in his left thumb. He takes a strike, it's 2-1. But the last 12 games, he's come back around again, and that'll be a key for this team as they wind down the regular season and get ready for the postseason. They'll need him to be big. He had a single and a walk yesterday. 0 for 1 tonight, and he takes ball 3. Now time called. Another 3-ball count. Cashner's gone 3 balls to Springer, Altuve, and Correa this inning. It's 4th 3-ball count overall tonight. This one fouled away, and it's a full count. Correa, even missing the time that he has this year, is approaching the single-season franchise record in Houston for home runs hit by a shortstop. It's a record he set in his rookie season in 15. Bounces this one third base. Beltre has to hustle it. Pardon me, Middlebrooks. And it's a 1-2-3 for Cashner. Well, we will go to the last of the third inning with the Rangers on top 1-0.
The Rangers leading the Astros 1-0 thanks to a Joey Gallo bomb, and it is time for our progressive fan of the game. In this case, it is fans of the game. It's the Highland Village Storm. Guys, I love inquiring minds. I was in the elevator with these kids for approximately 30 seconds, and they asked 42 questions of me, firing away, and I loved every minute of it. So that gets them the progressive fan of the game.
Go Rangers! Go Rangers!
I'm glad they found the energy to come up with a couple of questions. Emily, good find, and that's a great group. Great to have them out of the ballpark tonight on a Monday night. Elvis Andrus leading things off here in the third inning. And he hits one sharply on the ground towards second, and Altuve got to it but couldn't get it cleanly. Andrus is on. And a big shift on there for Elvis. He sneaks that one by for a base hit.
And you see infielders today go after balls like that and slide. Don't remember that years back. You just went over, bent down, and caught the ball. That looked like a playable ball for Altuve. Well, it was, but it took a bad hop. Now we see what happened to him. He got there. He was ready to catch it, just bounced over his glove. Nothing he could do about it. But that has become a style of play for a lot of infielders. And I think they must feel that they can catch the ball, get up, and throw it easier than they could if they bent down and caught it without sliding. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. But it wasn't the way that infielders played the ground ball years ago. And all I can think of is that it must be a better way of doing it, or the current players wouldn't do it that way. Or maybe they're a little more athletic and they're able to make that play, and that's the way they like to do it.
And it is an interesting point, though, right? Because it's hard to deny the fact that guys are more athletic. They're bigger. They're stronger.
Yeah.
So maybe those are balls that in the past guys just simply didn't get to it all.
Maybe.
And this is the way to do it now. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting observation, though.
One thing, if you wanted to look at it in a cynical way, you would say, if I get to a ball and I bend down and I reach for it and I miss it, I might get an error. But if I slide after it, it's a base hit. And I don't think Altuve's thinking that for 1 second. He got to that ball. He was ready to catch it. Just took a bad hop over his glove.
Andrus out there at first base. And Mazzara takes that one a little high. 2-1. Nomar blistered a ball into the right field corner for a single. 110 miles per hour off the bat. We talked a little bit about Rougned Odor playing on that sprained ankle. Same with Carlos Gomez in center field. Mazara's been working through a tight left quad. A lot of guys out there playing a little banged up this time of year. That's true, no doubt, of every team. But even had Mazara been at top speed, that was probably a single in the first inning. There's not a whole lot that was going to be done about that.
That was one of those balls that came off the corner that the right fielder couldn't misplay that ball because he couldn't get close enough to it. Sometimes the guy gets right in the corner, he's too close to the wall, it caroms off the wall, goes toward right center field, and he's chasing after the ball. But that ball got there so quickly. By the time it came back to the right fielder Fisher, he was right where he should be. That would have been a tough catch for the fans in the wedgie down there if that ball went about 2 feet farther and skimmed over the top of the wall.
Mazara fouls that one off. Stays 2-2. Well, you're mentioning it earlier tonight, Tom, with Mazara hitting that 20th home run. And now the Rangers among just a handful of teams ever to have 3 guys 23 or younger with 20 or more home runs. The 1982 Twins were the most recent team to do that. It was Kent Hrbek, Gary Gaetti, Tom Bernansky on that 82 Twins team.
Yeah, and let's hope that the Ranger core young players is able to accomplish the same thing that those Twins accomplished over their next 10 years. That formed the core of a very good Twins team for many years.
Well, 3 years later, a World Series, then in 1991, a World Series. Yeah, we'll take it now.
Yeah.
If that's being offered, we'll sign up for it right now. Two. A little bit in. All right, how about this? Prior to the 82 Twins, it was the 1973 Indians did it. Oscar Gamble, George Hendrick, Charlie Spites. These are kind of cool lists. And then the other teams, so we're now one of 4 teams who have ever pulled this off. The 1940 Red Sox. Jim Tabor, Ted Williams, Johnny Dore. This one fouled away, 3-2 the count. Let's say the 1940. Let's take a look at that 40 Red Sox team.
Yeah, now
Bobby Dore
and Ted Williams in the Hall of Fame, but I don't remember Jim Tabor.
Yeah. Tabor, he was 23 that year, third baseman. Let's see what he ended up doing with that career. Well, a 9-year career. That was definitely the high water mark for him. Andrews with that lead off first. He's going, and then a strike 3 called. The throw down to second goes through into center field. Well, Elvis will hop up and head to third on the error by Evan Gattis, but he also has his 25th stolen base of the season.
We'll take a look at Elvis running on the play. Pitch is called a strike, and obviously the throw is a little bit to the left of second base. Correa tried to short hop that ball. That allowed Elvis to get to third base. Now with only 1 out, Correa is able to somehow knock that ball down, block it. It's a little bit different situation. Now the Astros will play the infield in. It becomes a nice situation for Adrian to knock in a run.
The infield in. Everybody up on the edge of the grass, so really concerned about that second run of the game potentially. Great 10-pitch at bat by Nomar Mazara. Ended up in a strikeout. Man, he made Hugh work.
We talked about McHugh when we talked about his pitch arsenal. He'll throw a curveball, which is a slower pitch. He'll throw a slider and also a cutter. So 3 varieties of breaking balls at all different speeds.
Ooh, this one gets away from Gaddis. He can't find it, and here comes Adrian Beltre. Pardon me, Andrews, after the, we'll see, wild pitch pass ball. McHugh was gesturing wildly at home plate.
He must have fouled it off.
Why? No real argument, so must have. Oh,
He fouled it off on a bounce. Well, it probably wouldn't have caromed away because Gaddis was in the process of doing a nice job of getting in position to block it. It looked like it would have come up and hit him in the chest.
Little bloop over the infield. Coming in for it, Springer, you won't get there. And this time, Beltre does bring home Elvis Andrews, and it's 2-0.
I just see Adrian do that so many times. A couple of breaking balls. He took one, backed off, missed one. A nice pitch down and away, 0-2. McHugh comes back and makes another good pitch with a breaking ball. There's a curveball down and away, not even close to being a strike. But Adrian is still able to get the bat on the ball and do enough to bloop it into center field to pick up the run. You almost, in those situations, can't make a pitch bad enough that Adrian can't get the bat on the ball.
So he brings home a big run, 2-0 the score. And here's Joey Gallo, who blasted one in the second inning. He takes outside. .39 home runs for Joey Gallo now with that homer in the second. Pulls this one to the right side. 1-1 the count. Let's go back to last inning. And no doubter.
This was a high changeup that Joey timed. I'm sure McHugh didn't get that ball where he wanted. I'm not sure it would have mattered. And you see where it went. 440 plus over the Astros bullpen in left center field.
One and 2 the count. Where he stands among the best in the American League, 3rd place at the moment. Chris Davis 2 ahead. Aaron Judge with a big day today for New York. Set a new rookie record, a major league record, with his 49th and 50th home runs today for the Yankees. Passing Mark McGwire in 1987. But look at this shift for Joey Gallo. That is,
if you can hit a ground ball through that, you've hit one pretty hard, that's for sure. Anything like a slow roller is going to be cut off. Too many guys over there.
another strikeout for McHugh. That gives him 4 tonight. All right, Tom, let's go back to Houston. This was in May, 1st of May, in fact, when these two teams got together. Remember that pitch behind Mike Napoli. And then everybody came out and did what they do. Gomez, for whatever reason, he wasn't really that involved. It was Colin McHugh from the top step of the dugout.
Yeah, it's really easy to be brave screaming from the top step of the dugout when you know you can't come on the field anyway.
Well, obviously no love lost between those two guys. And you can see a little of that bubble up to the surface in the second inning before that strikeout. Off the plate, and it's 2-0. Carlos should get something good to hit here. On top, 2-0. Beltre with a small lead at first. Catches a corner. Busy inning for McHugh. This will be his 25th pitch. And that's fouled away.
We talked about McHugh in the pregame show, I guess it was. He's 3-0 in his last 5 starts. But in those 5 starts, he's only averaged somewhere around 5 innings per start. He had 1 start where he went 3 innings, 1 where he went 4 1/3. So he's had 10 starts. He's pitched a little over 50 innings. That's about what he's averaging in his 10 starts, is just a little bit over 5 innings.
This ball hit well out toward right field, heading toward the corner, and foul.
So he hasn't been pitching deep into ball games. He's been throwing a lot of pitches. But what he's done the last 3 years has been pretty impressive coming into this season. He'd gone 43-26, 11-9, 19-7 in 2015, and 13-10 last year. So he's been a very solid guy for the Astros until this year. He had missed starts for him. Did have an injury this year. But as well as he's done, he's going to be on the outside looking in when it comes time to put the postseason rotation together. In fact, there's going to be some guys that have pitched decently this year that aren't going to get a chance to start games. You were talking about that earlier, Dave, with Keuchel and Verlander at the top of the rotation. McCullers coming back, and Brad Peacock's been 12-2 this year with an ERA under 3. Fires, McHugh, and even Charlie Morton, who's gone 13-7 with a 3.6 ERA, going to have a hard time starting a game in the postseason.
Swing and a miss. This one gets away and late to first base. Gomez got a late start out of the box. But when that one continued to trickle away, he took off. And he is safe at first on a strikeout. And then wild pitch.
Well, the pitch was blocked by Evan Gattis, but it bounced so far up in front of the plate that it hit him in the top of the shoulder and carried him away from him. And Carlos got a late start, and right at the end he turns on the speed and beats the throw to first base. Gattis did everything he could to get to that ball and get it to first base, just couldn't do it quickly enough. And the Rangers in a pretty nice situation right now with a strikeout, but have 2 base runners after it.
And they get Rougned Odor to the plate. But a good at bat in the second inning. Drew a walk. And McHugh's first pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. Odor hit a grand slam on the road trip. That was Wednesday in Seattle. But since then, 0 for 13. That was on the road, though. As we pointed out earlier, a much different hitter here at home. In fact, before he sees another pitch, McHugh is going to have a conversation with Gattis. 30 pitches now this inning for Colin McHugh.
30 pitches this inning, 62 pitches, 63 coming up through the 3rd inning yet.
So 2 men on, 2 out in the inning. A hard time reading lips, but I think he was saying that it's a $1 hot dog day here on Wednesday. Texas Chili Company, as we mentioned earlier.
How many hot dogs do you think you could eat in one sitting?
Boy, if I really gave it a shot,
yeah,
maybe, you know, I don't know, 4?
4?
5?
That'd be pretty good.
I mean, it's
they say
uncomfortable.
They say the boomstick is the equivalent of 5 jumbo hot dogs.
Oh.
Now, the boomstick also comes with like a cup of chili, a cup of cheese, and a few other ingredients, so that's really more than just a hot dog. But if you could polish away 5 hot dogs, you could give the boomstick a go.
Listen, I mean, if I was able to put that much away, Yeah, I would be in distress for a little while.
Babe Ruth did it.
Yes, he did.
He went out and played a baseball game. All you got to do is do it and talk for a couple hours. There you go. That's got to be a jumbo hot dog right there.
That's a pretty good sized dog. Goodness. 2 of those max for me right there. Yeah, Babe Ruth, that was in Asheville, North Carolina. They had to train him back to New York. The bellyache heard round the world as it became known.
So now when we all tell that story, we just say he used to eat 10 hot dogs before every game.
3-1 the count here to Odor. 2 men out there in front of him. And he takes high, ball 4. That is another 2-walk game for Rugi. Just the 6th time in his career that he's done that. Bases are now loaded. And you know what time it is? It's time for a Chevy game break. Where's John Radigan?
Here I am, Dave. No hot dog in sight. Red Sox magic number in the East stands at 3 entering tonight. Hosting the Blue Jays and former Astro Teoscar Hernandez helps Toronto take the lead. 2-run double here, and it's now 5-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Toronto clings to that lead, guys.
All right, thanks, John. Get back to that boomstick. Robinson Chirinos pops this one up. And that is not going to get it done. Foul ground, White. Drop the ball! Oh, my!
Wow.
Wow. When you are a pitcher
who's thrown 67 pitches in the 3rd inning, this is not what you're looking for. Well, he's got it tracked pretty well. And then does the fatal thing that an infielder will do. And I learned this from Mark McLemore. I never actually realized what happens sometimes. Your glove goes between the ball and your eyes, and you lose track of the ball. And it looks like that's exactly what he did. You see that every now and then with infielders. Most of the time they catch it anyway.
Well, that was the textbook case for the using the other hand too.
Yeah.
Add that bare hand in the mix there, and maybe you corral that.
Well, that's another one that's one of Mac's pet peeves. He says it's much easier to catch a ball with one hand than it is 2 hands. It's easier to get your body in position to catch it with one hand than to bring your other hand over. And in the big leagues, you should be able to catch a ball with one hand.
This ball hit well out to left field, but not going to carry. Marwin Gonzalez makes the one-handed catch, and the inning is done despite the error. Oh, you know what you need after an inning like that.
That's the boomstick right there. Forgot about the onions.
As we go to the fourth, tomorrow night, your last chance to take advantage of Fox Sports Southwest $10 Tuesday tickets. Yeah, the Astros and Rangers, middle game of the series, just $10, and you can add on a $10 meal deal when purchasing online. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials, get your $10 Tuesday tickets. Tomorrow night, all you have to do is use a coupon code FSSW10. So Marwin Gonzalez start things here in the fourth inning. Well, it's going to be a busy day. It's going to be a busy homestand. It's fan appreciation homestand. Tomorrow, the big pledge drive as well. As we will try to do our best to help support and raise some money for all the folks hurting down in South Texas after Hurricane Harvey. It really will be. First of all, it's a really fun night, especially when people start calling in, making up their own packages that they want to bid on. Take Tom out to dinner kind of thing. That's
Sounds
incredible.
good.
I mean, I heard some legacy stories from years past that were fantastic. I kind of want to save them till tomorrow.
Okay.
Ground ball, first base side, and that one is through. Marwin Gonzalez is on, fourth hit of the night for the Astros.
Out of those 4 hits, it's the third ground ball that's rolled through the infield. And again, there's not much you can do about that. Andrew pounds the strike zone a lot of times with his two-seam fastball. It's not meant to get a swing and a miss. It's meant to get a weak ground ball. And the risk is that occasionally the ball scoots through the infield like that one just did.
Now Evan Gattis. 0 for 1 tonight. And he takes strike 1 from Cashner. Gattis with some decent power. You see the 12 home runs, 52 RBIs for him. And he hits this ball out toward right field, and it drops in for a base hit. Around second, going to third, is Marwin Gonzalez. Astros have him on the corners to start this fourth inning, just as they did in the first.
Third baseman Alex Bregman.
Well, Gattis looked like he didn't hit that ball very hard. Kind of a semi-line drive, semi-blooper. Just kind of sliced the ball into right field. But with nobody out, Andrew's going to have to do some pitching to get out of this jam.
Alex Bregman, first pitch swinging. And he sends this one down the right field line. Chew got there, but couldn't come up with it, and then ran into that wall pretty hard. Looked like his left toe, left foot hit that wall hard.
It's a tough play. A ball that's hit way up in the air like that, coming straight down. You're right near the ball. You can't tell exactly if the ball is going to go into the stands, hit the railing, come down for you to catch it, and you're running fast. You're watching the ball. He takes a quick look to see where the wall is. But that's the kind of play that looks a lot easier when you watch it in slow motion than it is when you're actually going after it, trying to watch the ball, be aware of the wall, and still try to concentrate enough to make the catch. It's not an easy play.
Big swing and a miss. The count 0-2 on Alex Bregman.
One of those situations where Andrew reached back for a little bit extra and threw that one in at 98 miles an hour to get the swing and a miss.
He could certainly use the strikeout right here. 0-2. And this one out to right field, should be deep enough to get a run to the plate. Chu hauls it in. But Gonzalez tags, and he does score. So a sac fly for Bregman. And it makes it a 2-1 Rangers lead.
Bregman's having a nice season. Makes solid contact. Hitting right around 280. Has his share of home runs. Valuable guy. He'd play shortstop if you need him there. He played in place of Correa for quite a while. Drafted as a shortstop, moved over to third base where he does a really nice job. So he's a bright young player and significant part of the Astros core for the future.
He gives way here to Carlos Beltran, who is 0 for 1. Reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning, beat out what looked like a potential double play grounder. Just given the fact that he doesn't move today like he once did. Beltran, 40 years old now. Of course, those who have kept track of all the weather events that have become such the big story in the last couple of months. Houston and a huge portion of South Texas devastated by Hurricane Harvey, but then Hurricane Maria not that long ago made landfall right over the top of Puerto Rico and did unthinkable damage to that country. And Carlos Beltran and his wife just announced a day or two ago they were donating $1 million to relief efforts in his home country. Draws the walk here, 2 men on with 1 out. Goes back to something we were talking about earlier, though, the type of person that Beltran is on and off the field. Very well respected in this game. Now Tyler White. Cashner yanks that one off the plate. Well, White had that embarrassing moment earlier when he dropped that pop-up at first base. But a guy who has been swinging the bat really well lately for the Astros. We mentioned earlier that hasn't gotten a whole lot of opportunity. Last 8 games, there's 11 hits, 5 doubles, 3 home runs in the last 8 games. Recalled from AAA on September 2nd. That's his second go-around with the ball club. And ahead here, 3-0. 2 men on, only 1 out. Cashner, 7th 3-ball count of the night. The big Texan, Andrew Cashner, has dodged a few bullets so far tonight. 3-0 pitch. And that one in there. Well, the first 2 hitters of the game to reach base, but then got out of that first inning with no damage. Certainly use a ground ball right here. 3-2 pitch. That one lined out toward right field. Chu goes back, reaches up, and he makes the catch. 2 away, and both runners will hold. Gaddis at second, Beltran at first.
Boy, White put a charge in that one. That was a well-hit line drive. The one that we talk about a lot, directly over an outfielder's head, is the toughest play for an outfielder. He sliced that over Chu's head. Shin-Soo got back and just far enough to take that last jump and a leap, put his glove up and catch the ball. That one might sneak over his head as hard as White hit it.
Yeah, and if that one does get over his head, it's trouble. Well, a lot of it. So big play right there. It'll be up to Derek Fisher, the Astros right fielder. He struck out looking in the second inning.
And Andrew reaching back for a little extra. Upper 90s with that fastball.
Well, this will be his 20th pitch of the inning right here, so he's had to do a little work in some of these early innings. Gets ahead of Fisher, 0-2.
Another one at 97. Yeah, the hardest hit ball of the inning was the out that Tyler White just made. Gonzalez hit a ground ball to right field. Gaddis sliced a little blooper into right field. That got the inning started. But fortunately, the line drive that White hit was an out.
Ball and 2 strikes on Fisher now. Well, the Astros, mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it's a team with 95 wins. And just 60 losses, second best record in the American League, and still much to play for them. That one comes inside, got a piece of Fisher. Breaking ball, it just got away from Cashner, and the bases are loaded. Not what he wanted to do right there.
No, he's just trying to make a pitch. He's just trying to get out of the inning and keep the game at 2-1. Rangers are going to take a look at it, I guess, to see whether it hit him or not.
That's interesting. It bounced well in front of the plate, and then just got a.
Yeah, you could tell by the way the ball was misdirected that it hit his front knee and then kicked to Robinson's left off his chest protector. I don't think there was anything in that replay that would have shown otherwise.
Now here's Springer, 1 for 2. Dangerous guy, and he takes one high for a ball. You saw that note, 3 grand slams in his career. And now the Rangers will talk things over here for a moment. Of course, Doug Brocail, he knows these Astros hitters pretty well. This Rangers organization knows them well at this point. They've played them plenty, 19 times a year, a lot of film, etc. But Doug Brocail, formerly of the Astros organization, this is his 2nd year now with the Rangers, but came to the Rangers from Houston. So a quick conversation. 1-0 the count to George Springer. Gaddis at third, Beltran at second, Fisher the man at first. And a chopper over the mound. Andrews wants it. He bobbles it, and everybody is safe. And that one looked like it took a weird hop on Elvis. Maybe got him in the bare hand instead of the glove.
Yeah, you could tell the way that that ball was hit that it was not going to be an easy play. It's not a hard hit ball, but the way it's bouncing, you could just tell it was going to be a tough play. Tougher than it looked. Still, it's a play that Elvis will make almost every time. It's one that he'll tell you he should have made. It gets it in his glove. But, you know, there's a lot of things going on there. Rugi's coming over to get it. The runner sliding into second. Am I going to catch it and tag second? Catch it and throw it to first? That's an error on Elvis. Just one that got away from him.
Amazing. That just got the end of his fingers of his bare hand trying to trap it in the glove. He created enough of a disturbance to knock it out. So the inning continues for the dangerous Jose Altuve. Springer will not get an RBI for bringing that run home. Not that that matters a whole lot. It's tied up now at 2. And it's 1-1 to Jose Altuve.
Well, in trouble with men on base. Andrew's been reaching back for his best fastball. Most of the fastballs out of the last 10 or 12 pitches have been 97 or 98 miles an hour. Trying to battle through this inning, get out of it, minimize the damage, get back in the dugout, get rested up for the 5th inning.
Of course, this is where he has been so tough with 2 outs in an inning and runners in scoring position. Coming into the game, opposing hitters this year had just 2 hits against him.
Wow. With
2 outs and runners either at second and or third base. 2 for 53. Of course, that last one was not a hit. It was an error. Beltran, Fisher, and Springer around the bases. 2-2 the count. Altuve, we put a note up earlier about his road batting average of .388. Manager A.J. Hinch has pointed out in the past, he feels like part of it is the temptations at home with the Crawford boxes in left field. And that without those on the road, Altuve, much more natural, use the whole field kind of hitter, and he just laid off a very close pitch there. Full count.
A little bit outside.
Three-two. Runners go, and that's ball 4. Altuve forces home the go-ahead run with a bases-loaded walk. And Cashner's struggles continue and get to the point now where Paolo Espino has begun to loosen up in the bullpen.
Yeah, it's an unusual inning for Andrew. We don't generally see him struggle with his command like he has in this inning. He had Fisher behind in the count and hit him with a pitch. Then, in spite of his command issues this inning, he still had a great chance to get out of the inning when the error was made, and then he walks Altuve. A lot of pitches. Still trying to get out of this inning, keep it at 3-2.
Carlos Correa, right-handed hitter. The first pitch to him, a little bit low for a ball. And even as the pitches pile up this inning, Cashner getting more and more velocity, and perhaps a sign that he is trying harder and harder, putting more and more effort into each pitch. He's been touched for 3 runs here in the 4th inning. One and one the count to Correa, the 9th hitter of the inning for Houston. Opening game in this series. This is the Lone Star Series, the battle for the silver boot. A foul tip, 1-2 the count, and the Rangers have a shot with these final 3 games of hitting up on the right end of history here in this one. If they can sweep this, they would have to sweep this series to go 10-9 against Houston this season, and that a long time ago that did not look possible, because Houston started this thing this year by, I don't know what they went, like 5 of the first 6. Going very high, 2-2. Well, they took 6 of the first 7. The Rangers battled back. Yeah, there you go. Rangers won 6 of the last 9, though, to make this thing competitive. Bouncer, third base. Backhand stop, middle. Brooks, and he'll have no play.
Boy, it's just a nightmare of an inning. So close to getting out of it, but just can't quite get it done.
Cashner continues to do what you're supposed to do. Hit the ball on the ground, but that, gotta believe, will be an error.
Again, not a simple play, but he got his glove on it and was going to be able to make a long throw and probably have time to get the out, but just couldn't make the ball stay in the glove.
So E5. Again, no RBI. So now it's Springer at third, Altuve at second, Correa at first. And the man who started this whole mess, Marwin Gonzalez, singled to open this 4th inning. Takes one a little tight. So 4 runs have scored. See that 6 for 12 with the bases loaded, including one very big grand slam against the Rangers down in Houston earlier this year. 1-1 the count. Castro taking a little extra time now between pitches. Marwin Gonzalez had fallen on some hard times in August. In fact, right there early September, he was in a stretch of futility in which he was 1 for 23. But he turned it around. And the last 17 games, Marwin Gonzalez has been very good again, hitting about nearly 330. 21 now for his last 63. Comebacker, and that one is through, a base hit. Springer is in. Altuve follows. A 2-run hit from Marwin Gonzalez. He's put the exclamation point on the inning. 6 runs across. And that's going to do it for Andrew Cashner. He cannot believe it.
I can't remember an inning any more painful than this inning. You talk about scratching out some runs in this inning. A couple errors obviously didn't help, but there was 4 or 5 average ground balls. A couple were errors, several of them found holes or a hit batter. Just a very tough inning for Andrew Cashner.
So Paolo Espino coming on here in the 4th. This 4th inning, 6-2. Astros with the lead. Remember, tomorrow during our broadcast here on Fox Sports Southwest, we'll be auctioning off items to benefit those affected by Hurricane Harvey down in Texas and Louisiana. The items up for bid are now at foxsportssouthwest.com for you to check out and register. So you'll be ready to start the bidding at the start of Rangers Live tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. And there really are some terrific things on this list. As an example, Fox NFL Sunday VIP visit. Hang out on the set with Howie Long and Terry Bradshaw, Jimmy Johnson.
Now that's cool.
Crew.
I would
amazing.
love to do that. I love watching those guys.
So they'd help you set your fantasy lineup, Tom?
Nah, not necessarily. I can mess that up on my own without their help. I would just love to meet Terry Bradshaw and watch him work. I love watching him. I love the way he makes fun of himself, the way they have a good time. That would be fun.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and that's, again, you know, these are the type of things like you can't just go get someplace, you know.
No,
I mean,
no.
it's like this is.
No, you can't go to a catalog and buy this. This is a special opportunity.
And all of our friends at Fox National, of course, all the regionals getting together and helping out to put this thing together and come up with these great ideas and great packages. So
they had a huge article about Jimmy Johnson's home in the Florida Keys and how it was destroyed, and how it, it took Jimmy and his wife 20 years to get this house to be exactly what their dream was. And he was, obviously, as any of the people are, just brokenhearted and had a hard time even talking about it. And you just feel for all the people that are in that position. You just feel so helpless when you watch that.
Evan Gattis with the count here at 3-1. Paulo Espino is in relief, and this ball lined over third. Fair ball.
This inning is just unbelievable.
Correa is in.
This is like torture trying to watch this.
Is in. 8-2 Houston.
The hardest hit ball of the inning was a line drive to right field that Chu caught. That ball barely hit the foul line, the chalk down the left field line. It's almost a foul ball, but it falls in, brings in a couple of runs. Gonzalez's base hit up the middle. He just reached and hit a dribbler up the middle. Boy, and that hits the left side of the chalk. Man, 8 runs in, and maybe one ball for sure hit hard, and that was an out. And obviously the errors have played a huge part in this inning.
Now Bregman, and he'll bounce one foul. Got us out there at second base. He has driven in 2. He has scored 1 in this inning. Cashner, of course, you can close the book on him now. He's responsible for all 8 runs you see on the board, but only 1 of them an earned run. 7 unearned runs. To underscore your point of what a disastrous inning this has been.
Yeah, I don't think you can come up with an inning more painful than this. You might have come up with an inning where there has been some hard hit balls, some home runs, and a lot of runs scored, but I don't know that you can come up with one that has been more painful to watch than the way this inning has just unfolded pitch by pitch.
Pop up and foul ground, and Gallo is there to tuck it away, and the inning mercifully is done. And we will go to the bottom of the 4th. Ball is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Eight to 2. That's the bad news. Good news is it's only the bottom of the 4th. Rangers have plenty of time to get it going. Will Middlebrooks will start things off here in the 4th inning. Tom, that was that last inning, an 8-run inning, 7 unearned runs. Doesn't happen very often. It tied a franchise record. 4th time it had happened in franchise history. You got to go back to 1987, the last time a Rangers team allowed 7 unearned runs in an inning. Charlie Huff pitching at Tiger Stadium.
Well, I was probably there. I'm glad I can't remember it.
Right,
if there's anything like that in it.
Oh boy.
Fortunately, as bad as my memory is, I won't remember this in a few days, probably. I'm going to go out of my way to try to forget that in it.
1-2. And on appeal down there at first, Carlos Torres said Middlebrooks held up. Middlebrooks had a base hit in the second. Rangers with 2 runs on 5 hits. They've made 2 errors, big ones. McHugh off the plate. Meanwhile, the Astros 8 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. And they have stranded 4.
Okay, so here's the question. Do you think Colin McHugh is going to get a win in this game?
I don't. Bouncer shortstop. Correa charging nicely and gets Middlebrooks. 1 away. I mean, maybe, right? He's going to have to get something done, though. Don't miss the last post-game fireworks show of the season this Friday when the A's take on the Texas Rangers here in the final Friday home game of the year. Stay after the game. Fireworks show set to the players' walk-up music. Fans can get up to a 20% discount on upper reserve tickets for this Friday home game. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials for tickets.
No, the Astros had the potential for the same kind of an inning in the 3rd. They had a couple of errors of their own in that inning. Catcher's throw into center field, a drop pop up with the bases loaded. Rangers just couldn't quite keep the good fortune going like the Astros did in the top of the 4th inning. But the ingredients were there for the same kind of an inning after Tyler White dropped that pop up. Mac texted me after that. You know, we're talking about one-handed, and he brought it to my attention. He did use 2 hands. He had his right hand up to try to catch that ball, but because his glove was in front of his eyes, he didn't really anticipate when the ball was going to hit his glove, and he never could use it.
How about George Springer angling back to take 1 away right there?
Well, they call him Spider-Man for the way he climbs walls to make plays. I don't know what you call that kind of a play. Superman. And a dead sprint going toward left center field. Uses every bit of his speed and athletic ability to catch that and dive into the warning track. Nice play.
I'd have to take back my prediction, right? You asked.
Yeah, you get 2 quick outs. Now he's in pretty good shape.
That changes things a lot. Here's Elvis Andrus. And he takes strike 1. So McHugh, who's had to do a little work in the early innings. This will be his 80th pitch of the night. It's been an economical force so far for him. 1-1 the count. Elvis grounded out in the 1st inning, singled, came around to score in the 3rd inning, picked up his 25th stolen base in doing so. Couldn't get that breaking ball there. 1-2 the count. McHugh making just his 11th start of the season, and he just missed that outside corner. That was pretty close. Dealing with Andrus here. We mentioned earlier it was a tough road trip for the Rangers offensively, and Andrus 7 for 35 on that roadie. Hits this ball sharply down to 3rd. Nice backhand pick by Bregman. Throw a high one, but in time to get Andrus, and the inning is done. So McHugh does make it a tidy 4th inning. We go to the 5th in a 6-run game. The Astros as we move it along to the 5th inning here in our AT&T matchup tomorrow. This is a great one. Dallas Keuchel and Cole Hamels combined 24 wins, 9 losses with these two. You call them staff aces. Dallas Keuchel getting a run for that though with the addition of Justin Verlander to their rotation now. There's Hamels. Espino starting this 5th inning. He goes after Carlos Beltran, low and in with ball 1. Beltran, Tyler White, and Derek Fisher here in the 5th. One and one the count. Beltran 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Pops this one up. Third base side. Middlebrooks in the foul ground. And makes the play. 1 away. We'll bring up Tyler White. White has flied out twice to right field tonight. 0 for 2. He goes after the first pitch. Pops this one up. Foul ground. Chirinos looking for it. And stays right with it. 2 away. 2 pop-ups into foul territory.
Oh, that one had some hang time. That was a tester for Robinson. Watch Robinson drop the mask so he doesn't step on it. Concentrate all the way, make it look easy. Take a look at where his glove was on that play compared to Tyler White. Robinson had his glove off to the left side of his head so that his eyes never lost contact with the ball. Tyler had his glove right straight in front of his eyes, and even though he had his right hand there ready to catch the ball if it popped out of his glove, he didn't know when the ball was going to hit his glove because he couldn't see it.
Strike to Fisher. 1 and 1 the count.
Now I know why I dropped all those fly balls. I wish Mac had told me that a long time ago.
Man, yeah, but a little late.
Okay, now watch the glove on Tyler White. It's going to go up right in front of his eyes right here. He's got his hand there ready to help, but he never knew when the ball was going to hit his glove. Had he probably kept his glove to the left side of his head like Robinson did, then that ball would have gone right straight in his glove.
It's funny, we're so accustomed to seeing guys, make those plays. I feel like those pop-ups, man, in foul ground, straight up, straight down, and then they got that little banana spin on them.
Yeah, for the catcher. Man. Yeah, we were talking about that a couple weeks ago. They are hard when they go straight up over your head like that. It's just that these guys are so good that they make it look easy. Catchers hardly ever miss those balls. You'll see first baseman and third baseman miss them more than you'll see a catcher miss them.
3-2 to Fisher. Very close, but Fisher will draw the 2-out walk. So now top of the order here against Espino. Cover your eyes. Espino's faced 5 here in relief. He's gotten 3 pop-ups into foul ground. A lot of walk, and of course the double to Evan Gattis. Springer fouls that one away. For ball 1. Strike 1 rather. Springer, the base hit, has also reached on an error and scored a run. Breaking ball, but that one misses. 1-1 the count. Springer's been a tough one on the Rangers this year. 5 home runs. A .328 batting average against the Rangers. He's done some pretty substantial damage this year. Man at first with 2 out in this spot, but he's in a hole 1 and 2. Balls and 2 strikes. Paulo Espino on a relief today for Andrew Cashner. Cashner went 3 2/3. He just got into an inning he could not get out of today. Runner goes, and this one lifted high in the air, back of third base. Andrews out from shortstop and catches that one in foul ground. Every out that Espino has gotten today has been in foul territory. We're halfway there, 8-2 Houston. They'll go to work here in the 5th inning. And just another reminder, the Red Cross, it depends on financial donations to be able to provide disaster relief immediately. You can help people affected by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma by visiting redcross.org or texting the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. All right, the 3, 4, and 5 here in the 5th inning against Colin McHugh. And this is the big test right here. Mazzara takes a strike on the outside corner. Wondered if McHugh would be able to get through 5 innings to put himself in a position to win this game.
Well, that call right there won't hurt him.
No, it won't. A couple of odd ones early on here. Mazzara 1 for 2. Single in the first, struck out in the third. Good breaking ball that time. Strike 2 call, and Mazzara, at the very least now, knows that that outside corner is open for business here. 2 tough ones against him. Last one a very good pitch though. Nomar sitting on 97 RBIs this year. He hits this ball high in the air out to center field. Springer though circles underneath it, and that is out number 1. Well, coming up on Thursday, it is our final Throwback Thursday. A's will be in town, the opening game of that 4-game series. First 10,000 fans get a Papa John's Texas Rangers Throwback Thursday collector pin. This pin commemorates Adrian Beltre's 5 gold gloves. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Ooh. A little tight there to Adrian. Practices swing at that kind of a pitch. Good sense of humor. 1 for 2 today. Oh, comes a little bit in.
I can't imagine there's a pitcher in baseball that even entertains the thought, I want to knock Adrian Beltre down. You know, he's one player I can think of where no one would ever think that about him.
This ball hit hard out into right field. Base hit, and Beltre with another multi-hit game. Man alive.
I don't even know what to say about Adrian now. Just watching him play with a bad leg. He's had to alter his swing without the lower body and still hits better than anybody else. It looks like it's starting to improve a little bit. His swing looks a little bit more like his regular swing than it did when he first started playing after his injury. But he's not anywhere close to being 100%. Coming into the game in the last week, he was hitting .346. He's 2 for 3 tonight.
He's on in front of Joey Gallo now.
He was ready to unload on that one, boy.
That hit by Beltre, by the way, 3,047 in his career. He's getting closer to Rod Carew. Rod Carew at 3,053. So 6 hits shy of catching Carew. Might still do that on this homestand as a swing and a miss by Gallo makes it 1-1.
And what number is Carew?
That Carew is 25th.
25?
Yep. One pitch. Now you look at this shift. We showed this a little bit earlier. Beltre's on base over there at first. You look at the infielders. That is as dramatic and absurd as the shift as we've seen. I mean, the third baseman is basically behind second. That's 3-1. Now, there was a time when, of course, Ted Williams used to get the big shift. And weren't many, but Willie McCovey was a guy. People would shift like this on Willie McCovey. McCovey, this is an awesome story.
They're shifting over even more now with this 3-1.
Got everybody on the other side. This one hit hard out to center. The right to Springer. And there are 2 gone. They had every single infielder on the opposite side of second base on that pitch.
Yep. I guess when the count went to 3-1, the feeling is that the hitter's in more of a position to try to pull the ball. And so they shifted over 4 or 5 more steps on that pitch.
Man. That was amazing to see. It happened just before that pitch, but it was just incredible.
Yeah.
Now here's Gomez. 0 for 2. Last time he did reach after striking out as the pitch got away. Misses for ball 1. So McCovey would bat behind Willie Mays in the Giants lineup. This is, back early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. Mays said that there were times where he would hit a ball to the gap and it would be maybe looking like a double, but he would stop at first just because he didn't want to take the bat out of McCovey's hands. So he'd stop at first, let McCovey get a chance to hit. He said one time he did that. He's at first. They did that shift just like you saw, and they're playing at Candlestick Park. And McCovey laid down a bunt. Bunted it a little hard. And it went past third base. Mays scored from first on the bunt.
I wish I saw that. Now that's an exciting play.
That ball smashed down past third base and into left field. Beltre pedaling for third base. Gomez with a double. And he hit that ball pretty hard. Talk about exit velocity. That was Shillelagh down the line.
Now batting the second baseman, Rudin.
23rd double for Carlos. Take another look at the pitch. Pretty nice swing there because that ball, two-seam fastball, was tailing in, probably on the corner or maybe a little bit off the plate. And he had to really pull his hands toward his body to get the barrel of the bat on that one. And it looked like Bregman got the glove on that just a little bit, deflected it slightly. Well, he got a chance to get through the 5th inning and get a win, but it's 97 pitches and the bullpen's going, so he's going to have to sneak through 5.
I do have some activity out there. Tony Sipp has been warming up. Interesting. He's looking right over the precipice right now out there. We've got Rougned Odor to deal with. He has walked Odor both times tonight. Gomez with that big double, and you know he would love to have been the guy to knock McHugh out of this one tonight. But listen, 8-2. This is not an insignificant at bat right here. Odor could really provide a big moment. An 8-run 4th inning right now is the difference in this thing. But Odor can put the Rangers right back in it. He takes a strike on the inside. Saw Odor walk twice Saturday at Oakland. Just the 5th time it had ever happened. It's the 100th pitch of the night at a breaking ball, strike 2 called. And today he has walked twice. Of course, he has had a lot of questions lately about this season for him and what it has been like and the kind of adjustments that he feels like he can and should make. Maybe some of that's in his head. He's walking a little bit more lately. 0-2. He's talked a lot about just getting to his pitch, swinging at his pitch. Hasn't had many to swing at tonight. Even the 2 strikes this inning, they were quality pitches. Tough ones. Ones you wouldn't really want, because this one is high. It's 2-2.
Yeah, and that's a pitch that several times or more this year Ruby has offered at. Well, that's a nice one to see him lay off of on a 1-2 pitch. If he's going to expand the count, that's generally a time when he would do it. So that's a nice pitch and a nice take right there by Ruby.
2 now, well past 100 pitches. My guess is I get the feeling this might be his last batter, no matter what. A.J. Hinch hoping for a certain outcome. Two. Very high, full count. So Beltre's at 3rd. Gomez at 2nd. 2 out. And it's a 3-2 count on Odor.
For 3 walks in 5 innings, that really would be something right here for Ruby.
Ball 4.
There it is.
And they are loaded up.
They threw him a 3-2 curveball and never got it to curve back toward the plate. And the only reason he's in the game right now is because it's 8-2, and he needs one more out to get a win.
First time in Odor's career that he has ever walked 3 times in a game. And my guess is he knows it and his teammates know it. And they're letting him. Yep. What are you talking about? That's what I do. Bases loaded for Chirinos. Good curveball for a strike. Well, again, one big swing, and this game changes very quickly. Now, I'm not even talking necessarily a grand slam. Chirinos can just deposit one of the outfield somewhere and get a couple of runs home this inning. That would be very big. And now another conversation.
Yeah, watching him pitch tonight, it's a minor miracle that the Rangers have only scored 2 runs.
James Hoyt now is throwing out there as well.
He may get through 5 and he may get a win, but it won't go down as a gem, that's for sure.
Oh, and 2. Chirinos struck out in the 2nd inning. Flied out in the 3rd. So Ranger at every base. McHugh's 0-2 pitch. Inside. 1 and 2. McHugh has spent a good bit of this season on the disabled list. Had only eclipsed 100 pitches on 3 occasions. And this is a season high already for him right here at 107. 1-2. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Boy, he does not want to throw a strike. He is going out of his way to get the batter to swing at a bad pitch. This is like the epitome of a nibbling pitcher right here. He got a 6-run lead and doesn't want to throw a strike. He may pitch himself right out of a win.
Chirinos asks for time. You see, I mean, just the contemplation between each pitch. 2-2. And fouled away. Well, Chirinos going to make him work. Coming into the game today, Chirinos was 3 for 6 against McHugh. Previous games. A guy he does see pretty well. 2-2. And that ball lifted down the left field line. Foul ground. And into the seats, and just barely. Couple of rows up. The at-bat will continue. Rangers got a run in the 2nd, a run in the 3rd. Astros got all 8 runs in the 4th inning. 7 of the 8 were unearned runs. Chirinos in an extended battle here with Colin McHugh. And that one over 3rd base. It is foul.
Getting closer. Yeah, it really is amazing when you look at the line for the Rangers. The Rangers have received 3 walks in these 5 innings, all 3 for Rudy. There's one thing for Rudy to walk 3 times. That's amazing. But those are the only 3 walks the Rangers have had.
They really, the first 2 were pretty quick and pretty easy. He didn't see much of the way of strikes at all.
And the 3rd one, he had that one key pitch, that high pitch.
Well, a strikeout of Chirinos, and McHugh survives the 5th inning. Rangers lead 3. We played 5 tonight. Astros by 6. The 4-game summary. You see, even in hits tonight, even in errors tonight, and really the difference might be when those errors were committed. 7 unearned runs in that 4th inning for the Astros. They lead 8-2. And earlier, there was a little excitement.
I'll take a look at the 4-game summary. Pitch in to Carlos, and he's had a lot of those this year, so he's not too thrilled about it. Then after the foul ball, not exactly sure what words were exchanged. Carlos went back to bat. McHugh took a couple of steps toward him, and both benches emptied. A few words were exchanged. Order was restored, and now we're playing baseball again. No damage done.
Altuve grounds one fouled on the 3rd base line. Well, Espino has come on a relief here and retired 4 hitters. Back of Andrew Kashner, and all 4 outs have been in foul territory. That's kind of weird. Maybe that's like a specialty that he could work on.
I think he's been working on that with Doug Brocail between appearances.
High throw, and Gallo initially looks like maybe didn't get the glove down. At least that's the way it is called. Rangers will check the replay up in the clubhouse and see if they want to challenge that one.
I think he gets the glove down, but not in time. Altuve looked like he got on the bag before the glove came down. Let's take a look. A little tough from this one. Yeah, that's pretty close. That's really close. It's closer than I thought it was. Nice pickup. Will's throw sails a little bit. The tag comes down. Oh boy.
Oh, the head. I didn't see the head part the
touched
first
him in the
time.
head. I didn't think there's any chance he was out, but after that replay, I can see why Bandy wants to check it.
That's an interesting one. So the Rangers challenging the call in the field. The call in the field was safe at first. And so our crew puts on the enormous headsets necessary to get the call, and this will apparently will not take long. There we go. He is out. All right. Great challenge.
Well, I did not think that was going to happen watching it in real life.
Apparently neither did Gallo. So a fair ball out recorded by Espino, and it'll bring up Carlos Correa. First pitch taken upstairs. That might have been the shortest review we've had all year, by the way.
It was quick.
Yeah. One and one. Correa, we mentioned earlier, back now at full strength, and recently is kind of gotten things going offensively. Big breaking ball. That's a beauty. Strike 2. Tried it again. This time Correa wouldn't take the bait down in the dirt. 2-2 the count. Paolo Espino today in relief, and you know that's what September is about for a lot of guys. He made his debut with the Rangers on September 2nd. We're playing the Angels. And a bender in there, strike 3 call. His first strikeout of the night.
He really fooled Correa. Correa probably hasn't faced him before, hasn't seen that curveball, and reacted in a way that showed you that he's probably never seen the curveball from Paolo before.
Let's take a quick Chevy game break. Where's John Radigan?
Dave, thank you. Angels playoff hopes dwindling tonight too. South side of Chicago, and this doesn't help. Runners at the corners for Nicky Delmonico, and he goes shopping at the gap. Narrowly missed the homer, but he'll take the 2-run double. And right now it is the White Sox leading at 4-2. We've moved to the top of the 7th, guys.
Attaboy, Johnny.
Gotta like that one.
Shopping at the Gap.
Shopping at the Gap.
I needed that.
That one just came out. That was impromptu, too.
That was outstanding. 0-2 on Marwin Gonzalez. Gonzalez had 2 hits in that 8-run 4th inning. Nonplussed by that last offering. And he has a very relaxed style up there. The hands, I love the way he sets the hands like at the belt when he gets ready. Look at this. It always amazes me, Tom, how guys get to the hitting position, though.
Yeah, and he really doesn't bring his hands that far up from there. Generally, no matter where a guy starts, his hands are generally somewhere around shoulder high. Gonzalez starts his hands right down there. Really doesn't bring them up all that much. Keeps them right down there. So it's not really a conventional style of hitting, but certainly works for Marwin Gonzalez, who's having a big year. Astros had a note about him. He and Mark DeRosa are the only 2 players in history to ever have 30 doubles and 20 home runs or more and play 6 different positions in one season.
Boy, smashed this ball. That's one headed out toward right center and long gone.
I'll say.
Whew. 23rd of the year for Marwin Gonzalez.
Boy, he'd have put a charge in that one. That went over the 407 sign and over the Ranger bullpen into the front row of the seats right behind the Ranger bullpen. Boy, if you want to watch the pitchers, that's about as good a seat as you can get, right behind the catcher, and you get to watch the starting pitcher warm up and all the relievers. And that's a curveball right down the center square, and there's the home run swing.
That thing pounded. So 9-2. And now Evan Gattis.
Gonzalez has knocked in 3 runs tonight. That's 85 for him on the season.
That ball hit high in the air out to left field. Room out there. Mazzara gets back to his spot, and the inning is done. But the home run by Marwin Gonzalez makes it a 9-2 Astros lead. Sonic Slam Inning brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Our jackpot tonight, $400 plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. All right, Julie Collin of Victoria is our contestant. The Rangers hit a home run. Julie wins $400. If it's a grand slam, she wins $25,000. Good luck, Julie. Well, McHugh got through the 5 innings. So now turns it over to James Hoyt here in the 6th.
Here are numbers for James Hoyt on the season. Pretty solid season. 47 innings, 64 strikeouts, only 13 walks. So a really nice strikeout to walk ratio. A few home runs, 7 home runs. And he inherits a 9-2 ball game right here. Colin McHugh did get through the 5th inning, but it was not easy. Well over 100 pitches to get through 5 innings. Left with got out of a bases loaded jam right at the end.
He got out of a couple of big, I mean, just enormous jams today. He had the bases loaded spot that he got out of in the 3rd inning. He got out of a 1st and 3rd situation in the 2nd inning, but then the bases loaded jam in the 5th one, he was absolutely out of gas. That was the big part of that one. He had nothing left.
Nope.
Up high, it's 2-0 on Will Middlebrooks. Nine to 2 Houston. And Hoyt gets the outside corner this time. 2-1 the count. So McHugh, 5 innings pitched, 2 runs on 7 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Swing and a miss, evens the count here. 2-2 on Middlebrooks. Hoyt gets his first strikeout of the night. So Middlebrooks back to the bench, 1 away, and now to the top of the order for Shin-Soo Choo. Choo already 0 for 3 tonight. Been a lot of at-bats in this one tonight. Both teams have put a lot of traffic out of the bases. Astros are almost 4 times through their order already as we work here in the 6th. This is the 4th time through for the Rangers now. Choo twice his flight out to center field. He's also grounded out to first. Last 5 games, Choo had picked it up a little bit. 6 for his last 17. Watches 1 away. But this offense, generally speaking, has really fallen on some hard times. Last 15 games, the Rangers as a group hitting 196. That's right when things have mattered the most. You know, the pitching has, you know, by and large stepped up at this end of the season run where they, you know, the Rangers just did not have a whole lot of room for error in the wild card race. And starters kind of held up their end of the bargain, but the offense has gone AWOL. 2-2.
Yeah, and at the point in time where there were 5 or even 6 teams within a game or 2 each other a month ago, most of the teams have played pretty much the same way, except Minnesota, who's played well enough to get 7 or 8 games above 500 and take a commanding lead. But the rest of the teams, the Rangers, Kansas City, Seattle, the Angels, you know, whoever the rest of the teams were, they've all pretty much done the same thing. Won 1, lose 1. And then in the last week or 10 days, none of those teams have played very well.
This one hit hard down the right side, fouling out of play. What were you saying earlier, though? There were 5 teams in the American League better than 500 this year?
Yeah, there's a couple of teams way over 500. Obviously, Cleveland and Houston. And the Red Sox now are 27 games over 500. Those 3 teams pretty much take up all the games over 500. The Yankees are having a big year. They're 17 games over now, and the Twins are 8 games over. Other than that, no one else is over 500.
2 strikes out swinging, 2 out here in the 6th inning. Yeah, pretty crazy. What a weird year it has been, especially in the American League. Bring up Elvis Andrus now. This Astros team, a very good team. Most of the season had the best record in the American League, and they had it just kind of going away. But then the Cleveland Indians have just gone nuts. The end of August and September.
29-2, something like that. But you know, the one thing you can say right now about the Astros, up until about maybe a couple of weeks ago, a little longer than that maybe, they were really in a downward spiral. They were not playing good baseball. They had some injuries. Cleveland was overtaking them, and then it really looks like they got a little healthier. They started playing better, and they made the trade for Justin Verlander, and that just seemed like it energized them. There's a slide and a throw.
Carlos Correa in time, and Andrews called out. Jeff Bannister immediately, though, says, hang on.
What a play. We're talking about how infielders now tend to slide, and maybe it helps them get up and throw quicker to be in a position to throw. It stops them quicker rather than reach for it and have to take a couple of more steps.
Wow.
And he's out. What a play. Boy, that's a great play all the way around. A great play by Tyler White, stretching, keeping his foot on the bag and catching the hop, and by the athletic Carlos Correa to go in the hole, slide, and come up and throw the ball over there in time to get him. That was some kind of play.
Rangers have reviewed it internally, will not challenge, and we go to the 7th inning.
Astros leading the Rangers as we welcome you back to Globe Life Park in Arlington. A tough night for the Rangers overall, but a pretty decent night for one Rougned Odor, who is the subject of tonight's State Farm winning combination. Ruby with a career high 3 walks. He also had the nice play defensively, the basket catch to run Jose Altuve of a hit. And you know, Ruby has been a consistent in this lineup. He's played every game up to this point. I spoke with him today about if he has the desire to play 162. He said absolutely, and I said, what part is hurting right now?
Well, Gomez just short of pulling that one in, and Bregman into second base to start this 7th inning with a double.
That was a hard hit ball by Bregman into the gap, and Carlos almost ran it down. He got a good jump, got there, just couldn't quite keep the ball in his glove. Get another look at it. Looked like a slider. Pretty good pitch for Bregman to drive, and he goes the other way with it. Carlos is shading him a little bit that way. And the ball slices away. Looked like his glove came down and hit his leg. Ball's in his glove all the way, and then his glove comes down and hits the side of his body and bounced right out of the glove. Almost a really nice play.
And this one lifted into center field. Gomez right there underneath it, and there is out number 1. That brings up Tyler White. One out here in the 7th inning. 9-2. Houston on top. Paolo Espino has done a nice job so far in relief here. He's allowed the 1 run, the home run by Marwin Gonzalez. Walk and a strikeout so far for him. And White takes high for ball 1. So we're talking about the situation in the American League in terms of wild card standings and overall records. White lifts this one out to left center field. That ball carrying pretty well. Mazzara back there will let it bounce up over the fence, and that is an automatic double. Bregman scores. White makes it 10-2. So looking at the wild card standings, Rangers, you know, they were backed up against the wall. The elimination number coming into play today was 2. Is Doug Brocail out there to have a little conversation. Angels elimination number 3, and what that means is, of course, a loss chisels 1 more off that. But even if you won all your games, if the Twins were to win 2 or 3 games, then they would eliminate Texas and Anaheim. So it's Twins wins or your own losses that whittle away at that elimination number. And the obvious eventuality here is that it's going to take a bit of a miracle for things to turn around for either team, really, to knock off the Twins.
And the bottom line is, over the last 6 weeks, the Twins were the team that played well and no one else did. And so they're the ones who are in position to go to the postseason, and the other teams aren't. Pretty much as simple as that.
Yep.
Twins have had an interesting season. They made a trade for Jaime Garcia earlier to bolster their staff. Lost a few games. Looked like they weren't going to be a contender. They traded him. Maybe they were going to trade him anyway. They also traded Brandon Kinsler, their closer, and got a, I'm not sure exactly who they got for him. They got some younger players for him. And then they put it all together, played well, and looks like they're going to go to the postseason now.
And you're talking again, you're talking about a team that lost 103 games last year.
Yeah.
They had the worst record in the American League, and nobody was considering them to be a factor this year.
Yeah, you don't expect to trade an all-star closer with a couple of months to go in the season and then coast into the postseason.
1-1. That one is high to Fisher.
But they've got a couple of veteran players in Joe Mauer, Brian Dozier, who've played really well. Young lineup that is a little more seasoned this year than it was last year. Irvin Santana has kind of anchored their rotation. They've pieced it together, and that rotation's gotten the job done.
Ground ball, that one through out into center field. A base hit for Fisher. Here comes White. He'll score. 11-2 Houston. And it looks like that's going to be it for Espino. So Jose Leclerc had been loosening out there, and it looks like the right-hander prepared to come on. Jeff Bannister makes the signal. 11-2 Astros when we come back. Clerk loosens up. Hey, this Sunday, we're celebrating you with our Fan Appreciation Day. We want to show the best fans in baseball how grateful we are to have you. The Rangers and A's. It's a 2:05 first pitch, final game of the regular season. Log on to TexasRangers.com and get your tickets for Fan Appreciation Day. There's going to be a lot of giveaways and contests and fun, so we certainly hope you'll come out and join us for that one. Jose Leclerc ready to go here in the 7th inning. George Springer up there for the 5th time today.
Take a look at Jose Leclerc's numbers. A 148 opposing batting average, 58 strikeouts in 45 innings. And he's kept the ball in the ballpark. He's only given up 4 home runs. The one thing that is very obvious that he has to work on is his control. He's walked 40 batters in 47 innings. When he learns to command the strike zone, then his stuff takes over and he becomes an excellent late inning bullpen pitcher for the Rangers. He can be dominating at times when he commands his pitches, but control is what's kept him from really putting together the kind of season he wanted to put together. A lot of the numbers are really good. Anytime you can hold an opponent to a 148 average, you've got a chance to be a special pitcher.
A 1-2 on Springer. Man at first, 1 away here in the 7th inning. Springer scored his run in the 4th inning after he had reached on an error, one of 2 errors in that 8-run inning. Skips up to the plate. Every Astros starter in this one tonight has scored at least 1 run. Marwin Gonzalez has scored 3. In fact, that's how it's gone down. Marwin scored 3. Everybody else has scored 1. An Astros team that in the first half of the season they had 14 games in which they scored double-digit runs. In the second half, well, this is just the 4th time. You know, just talking to folks on the Astros side, it's the one thing that hasn't gone quite as planned in the second half. The offense has sputtered at times. And, you know, you say that and you listen to their concerns. And I get it. They're getting ready for the postseason and they're hoping to make a nice big run. And they're complaining about their offense, and you look at their offense and say, geez, it's not that bad. They've been pretty good this year. Count stays 2-2 on Springer, but they've added pitching, and you know, that guy Justin Verlander has given them a brand new dynamic. And really, I mean, it was that acquisition of Springer, or rather of Verlander, right at the end of August deadline, not trade deadline, but the end of August deadline, that allows him to pitch in the postseason. From that point forward, they have taken off.
Well, they really have what you need now to be successful in the postseason too, and that's 2 aces, 2 #1 starters, Keuchel and Verlander. Verlander, since he's joined the Astros, has pitched 28 innings, averaged 7 innings a start, given up 11 hits and a couple of runs. 122 average and 0.64 ERA. They've got a good young lineup. They play good defense, and they're playing well right when you need to, right at the end of the season. So they're going to be a force in the postseason. They got their work cut out for them because there's other good teams too, but at least they've given themselves the best chance by making that trade for Verlander and getting a little bit healthier and kind of peaking at the right time, it looks like.
Yeah, you can see 16-7 since the Verlander day. Indians, since that time, 22-2. And there's a strike 1-1 the count to Jose Altuve. Spirit's pretty high right now in that Astros clubhouse and in the dugout tonight. They lead by 9. And the interesting thing for them too, of course, they've already long clinched the division. Still battling for the best record overall, which would give them home field advantage, and if they could get to that best record overall, it would give them an opportunity to start the postseason against the wild card winner, which is what they would prefer to do. Because otherwise, they're going to wrap up the regular season in Boston and then have to start the postseason against Boston. That's going to be weird.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Boston feels the same way, right? It's not like Boston's rooting for that.
Yeah, they'll both be setting their rotations up for the postseason without much care to who pitches in those final 3 games. But that is a weird way to start the playoffs.
The 3-1 pitch. And that one came in and got Altuve. Not sure where that got him exactly, but he is not feeling good. Here comes A.J. Hinch. Oh, it looked like he might have got him on the wrist or something. Boy, you can see Leclerc looks sick looking on.
I hope he's all right. That's the last thing you want to see for anybody at this time of year. And the position they're in right now is to get that kind of an injury. And Robinson Chirinos is out trying to settle Jose Leclerc down, who obviously did not want to do that, did not intend to do it. Hopefully it's a glancing blow to the point where it hasn't caused a serious injury. That's a dangerous spot to get hit right there.
Yeah, I'm with you. It looked like he was turning away just enough that maybe. Yeah. In slow motion, it looks like a glancing blow. That didn't look very good at all.
It hit him hard enough to where he's got to come out of the game, and just hope that there's no long-time injury right there.
Well, Tony Kemp takes over as the pinch runner. So 2 men on, and Correa swings and misses at strike 1. Correa scored his run in the 4th inning after he reached on the error. He takes outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, this one got away in the 4th inning. 8 runs scored for Houston. Now the regulars have stayed in the game, except for just a moment ago. Altuve hit by the pitch, now out of the game. And I would not be at all surprised to see A.J. Hinch start taking guys out here as we play in the top of the 7th. Get them a couple innings off and just keep them out of harm's way.
Yeah, unless they've got personal goals they're trying to achieve in the last week. There really is in this kind of a game not much reason for them to have to be in a ball game.
1-2. And that one off the plate. I always felt it was a real challenge for managers at the end of a regular season. When you know you're going to the postseason, how do you deploy your resources? You know, how hard do you push your starters? How much do you work your bullpen?
Well, they've got to push them now because they still have a chance to have the best record. But in this kind of a game, I don't think they do.
Breaking ball, strike 3 called. And Correa down looking, ends the inning. 2 runs score though for Houston. They now lead it 11-2. By Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. Tough one tonight here at Globe Life Park, 11-2. I was just looking back, Tom. This was the game the Rangers led 2-0 at one point, but it has gone the other way, and in a pretty decisive way. Tony Sipp comes on to pitch here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah, with the Rangers in that 2-0 lead through 3 innings, you got Andrew Casher on the mound, who was pitching well through 3 innings. No walks, a couple of strikeouts, giving up 3 singles in that time frame. He felt pretty good about the direction of the game back in the 3rd inning, but boy, it all changed in the 4th inning.
44th appearance for Sipp this season. And he will get the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in this 7th inning. Rangers have stranded the bases loaded on 2 different occasions tonight. And Sipp's first offering a little bit in. All right, some changes defensively too for the Astros. Marwin Gonzalez has moved from left field to second base, taking over there for Jose Altuve. Colin Moran takes over at third base for Alex Bregman. He's done. 1-1 to Mazara. So with Gonzalez leaving left field, Tony Kemp, who ran for Altuve, now takes over in left. One pitch. And this one spoiled foul. Nomar had the base hit early. 5th inning, hit a ball well to center field, but tracked down by Springer. He's made some nice defensive plays tonight as well. 2-2 the count. James Hoyt pitched last inning for Houston, and it was a perfect 6th for him. Fouled away, keeps the count 2-2. So the Rangers, this is the first of 3 tonight with Houston. They were hoping for a win to keep the hopes of the Silver Boot alive here in 2017. The Astros with 9 victories. The teams play 19 head-to-head games each summer. And it's a full count now on Mazara. So the next Astros win will clinch the Silver Boot for the season. And it'll be nice and all for A.J. Hinch, but he's got a little more on his mind right now. The 3-2 is lifted out towards center field. Springer, a casual run to his right to track that one down.
Look at our AT&T high-speed replay. I want to check out Adrian Beltre's game tonight. 0-2 pitch, 3rd straight breaking ball, down and away, not a strike, but he loops it into center field for an RBI. And then in the 5th inning, a base hit to right field. 2 for 3 for Adrian tonight. He's driven in a run. His average is up around 312, 313 right now. He just continues to get the job done no matter what shape he's in physically. He figures out how to get the barrel of the bat on the ball somehow. No matter what part of his body hurts, he figures out how to do that.
Down to the count here, 0-2. He is something to watch and an inspiration to his teammates for sure. The 0-2 pitch, chopped towards shortstop. Nice high hop for Correa. 2 away. here in the 7th inning. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in again with John Radigan.
Dave, I love this sequence in the Cubs-Cardinals rivalry. Addison Russell chasing after a pop-up, and watch as his cleats actually knock the nachos out of a Cardinals fan's hands. But Addison, well, he is a man of the people. So a little bit later in the game, he gets a plate of nachos and delivers them to the guy. He even takes a selfie with the guy. Are you kidding? And now cats are sleeping with dogs. I don't know what's going on in the world.
Yeah, he took, after he knocked those nachos out of that guy's hand, he took one look at that guy and saw the heartbreak on his face and said, somehow I've got to get that guy his food.
That is awesome.
That was tremendous.
One strike pitch.
Where did he get the nachos?
Yeah,
probably just went up in the concession stand. Do you think he just like walked up and got him?
Probably. That's probably exactly how that went down.
They sent a clubhouse attendant up to get him for him. That's nice.
This ball lined out toward right field, base hit. So Gallo with a hard hit single. Go with his home run from a little earlier tonight. A good night for him at the plate.
That's beating the shift right there, not by going the other way, but by hitting it a little bit over Gonzalez's head. Gonzalez is like a short fielder out there. He's 25 yards out into right field. In pretty good position to catch a line drive base hit, but Joey somehow got that ball far enough over his head. Get in there for his second hit of the ball game.
So he's aboard for Carlos Gomez, who doubled his last time up. 1 for 3 tonight. The double he hit in the 5th inning felt like he squirted up pretty well, hit it pretty hard. Somehow it registered with an exit velocity of 90 miles per hour. Now we've been told that there have been some bugs in the system. There's some that apparently wherever the little piece of technology is in a ballpark that actually captures the movement of the baseball, the spin, the velocity, all that stuff. Sometimes it's positioned in such a way that a ball can be hit high enough out of its range, and you'll have problems. But that was not the case. This one was a line drive down the left field line. 2-1 to Gomez. Such is life. It was hard enough. Sips 2-1 pitch. Framed nicely that time. A real good presentation by Gaddis. Might have even earned him that strike. 2-2. Small lead at first. Not much doing over there for Joey Gallo. And a swing and a miss. Gomez strikes out. The inning is done. We will go to the 8th inning tonight. 11-2 Houston.
This inning is the big green X inning. Rangers pitching strikes out the first 3 batters.
Coming here, Carissa Thompson, Tony Gonzalez, Dave Wansack, Colin Cowherd, and Michael Vick have all the latest breaking news and updates that you will need to start your football Sunday. It's Fox NFL Kickoff Sunday at 10 a.m. Central. Well, meanwhile, we've been talking about it the last couple of days. You got to join us tomorrow night. Certainly hope you'll do that. Join us tomorrow night for the broadcast. If for no other reason than you care about your own personal health, but also because we are having a fundraiser tomorrow for all the folks suffering after Hurricane Harvey, and we're going to have some great auction items like going to the set of NFL Fox football. So a lot of great stuff. You can check it out right now online, foxsportssouthwest.com. A lot of changes as Austin Bivens-Dirks is on to pitch here in the 8th inning.
Take a look at the Ford pitch arsenal for Austin. We love to talk about Austin because that pitch arsenal features just about everything. Fastball, cutter, changeup, slider, curveball. That's the full arsenal right there. He mixes up his pitches well. One of the few pitchers that throws only 42% fastballs if you just look at the two-seam fastball, but the cutter is also a fastball, a form of a fastball. Well, that gets his average up there a little higher.
Well, he also has a new catcher. AJ Jimenez takes over behind the plate. But that's not all, Tom. There's also a new shortstop, Phil Gosselin. And I hate to leave you hanging, but if you'll stay with me,
I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere.
There are even more changes.
If I was going to leave, it would have happened a long time ago.
Willie Calhoun is a new left fielder. Jared Hoying in center. You say, well, what happened to Nomar Mazara? Well, he's still in the game. In fact, this one's headed to him out in right field, and Nomar will pick it up after the base hit.
But about all you can say about Marwin Gonzalez is he's having a year and he can hit, and he's hitting against the Rangers. That's 4 hits tonight. He scored 3 runs and knocked in 3 already.
Good game for Marwin. He is on. Hey, guess what? Drew Robinson, he's at second base now. So new catcher, pitcher, second short, left, center, right. Those of you continuing to keep a tidy scorebook at home. Evan Gattis having a good night tonight. Driven in a couple. Double and a single in this one, and he bounces it third base. Quick throw to second base, and the relay from Robinson in time. 5-4-3 around the horn for the double play.
Third baseman Colin Moran.
There's been a lot of in-between hops today. That wasn't one of them. That was a high chopper all the way to third base. And Will was having an easy time turning that. Nice job by Drew Robinson. Got rid of it quickly. Not that it was going to be a tough play.
Colin Moran came in defensively last inning. His first at bat, sees 1 pitch and rolls out to second base. And the inning is done. We go to the last of the 8th tonight. It's 11-2 Astros. somehow win this thing. Then they're in a situation where the best they can do is get to a play-in game with a chance to get a wild card and maybe play the Yankees. And by the way, news for the Yankees today, as big Aaron Judge finally did it. We knew it was going to happen eventually, but his home run tear has finally gotten him into record territory.
Yeah, he's had an amazing season. At the All-Star break, he was probably the best hitter in baseball. He's hitting over 300 with a ton of home runs. I can remember earlier in the season comparing him to Stanton and saying, you know, he's having a better season than Stanton because his average is higher. Then he went into a deep slump right after the All-Star break for about 40 games, but right at the right time, he's heating up again. He's had a tremendous month of September. He's hit over 50 home runs, and he's getting hot right at a time when the Yankees need it going into the postseason, because he's the kind of guy that can carry a team the way that he swings the bat. And you look at some of the things he's done this year. He's walked, not sure if he walked today, but coming into the game today, he's walked 119 times. 50 home runs on the season, sets a new major league rookie record. Scored 122, 124 runs, depending on what he got today. Just having a spectacular season. And, you know, when you talk about a guy that's hit 50 home runs, walked 119 times, you think he'd probably be leading the league in maybe on base percentage or slugging percentage, but he's still second in both of those to Mike Trout. Trout's on base percentage is actually .444, and his slugging percentage is still a little bit ahead of Judge's. So it just tells you what a tremendous player Mike Trout is, but doesn't take anything away from the season that Aaron Judge is having. And very similar season to Giancarlo Stanton. Similar looking guys having similar seasons.
Tyler Clippard is the new pitcher for the Houston Astros. Yeah, pretty remarkable. 50 home runs in a rookie season, and there's still a week to go.
Man.
Drew Robinson swings and foul tips that right into Gaddis's glove. A strikeout is how we begin things here in the 8th inning. So Clippard has come on to pitch, and he has a new catcher, Max Stassi. Takes over behind home plate. J.D. Davis, new first baseman. Holy spring training, Batman. Here we go. New second baseman as Tyler White shuffles over a few steps. We're not done. And Jay Jimenez hits this one off into the bat. Foul. In the Where's Waldo category, Marwin Gonzalez has moved to his third position tonight. He's now at shortstop. Cameron Maben is in center field. Clippard's one strike pitch. And it's 0-2. I assume those are all straight switches. Otherwise, everyone's scorebook is in trouble.
Mine's out of order right now. It's never coming back. It's all right, 'cause I'm throwing it away after the game anyway.
Jimenez strikes out, 2 away here in the 8th inning. Do you ever just stop? Is there a point in the game where you ever just say, you know what? Oh, I'm just done.
I've done that. I hate to admit it, but I have done that before. And this, nah, I'm going to stick with it the best I can in this game. I'm not in a quitting mood right now.
I like it. Lone Star grit right there. Clippard finds the outside corner to Middlebrooks for strike one. So Clippard's come on and struck out 2 consecutive hitters. And we get an update on Jose Altuve. And it's a pretty good report, all things considered. It's a left forearm contusion, so bruised forearm. X-rays were taken. They were negative. And so he is day to day.
Good.
High pop up out into right field. And Middlebrooks flies out to a quiet bottom of the 8th inning. Only 8 pitches needed for Clippard. And we go to the 9th. The out-of-market regular season game live on MLB.TV Premium on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium. It's the #1 app for live baseball. Just go to MLB.TV for details. Ninth inning now. Carlos Beltran still in the game, and the DH fouls this one back underneath us for strike one. Beltran has walked and scored a run tonight. 0 for 3. Austin Bibbins-Dirks last inning gave up a leadoff single, but got a double play, then a ground ball, and just like that, the inning was done. It's now 1-1 to Beltran. 14 homers this year, 51 RBIs for the veteran DH. Great majority of the production has come from the left side of the plate. Talking about a guy, though, with 435 career home runs, closing in on 1,600 RBIs. He takes outside. It's 3-1. You talk about his standing among switch hitters all time. He has 1,078 extra base hits in his career. Only Eddie Murray with more. Eddie Murray had 1,099. Ground ball right side. And a nice high hop. Thanks for an easy out. One away here in the ninth inning.
Second baseman Tyler White.
Brings up Tyler White. White, who started the game at first base, now playing second base. So we're talking about Aaron Judge last inning and those home runs, down 50 of them now. And from the standpoint of Rookie of the Year, I think that's pretty well decided. And a new major league record for him. Where does he figure in the MVP, you suppose, in the American League? You mentioned Trout's name.
Yeah, I think he's got to be a candidate for sure. I really hadn't given that a whole lot of thought, but when you're playing on a pennant contender, a team that's going to the postseason, and you put up that kind of year, 120 walks, 120 runs, wow. Oh, that ball went over the railing and into the dugout. If you're not paying attention on the seat in there, man, that woke the guys up. But you're putting up that kind of a year on that kind of a team. You got to be a major factor in the voting, I think.
Oh, 2 pitch, and White takes outside. 1-2. So Fred Lynn, 1975, right? He was Rookie of the Year and MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I bring it up, I'm sure it's probably happening. I can't remember who it is. That's the only one I can remember right offhand, though.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy.
I know. It's just, sometimes I ask these questions to the wind like that, and then I regret even bringing it up because I don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's happened another time or not. You look at guys who would be candidates, and I'm not saying they're MVP guys, but Mookie Betts has had a really nice year for Boston. He's probably their best guy. Altuve certainly has had a nice year for Houston.
I think he'd have a pretty good argument.
Yeah. And the other guy that maybe is an unsung candidate would be Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, Cleveland.
With Cleveland. Guy's got 50 doubles and played all different positions. I got to give him some serious consideration. I don't know that there are other candidates.
No, I mean, I think that probably sums up the race.
And so when you're talking like where does Judge stand, you know, he's obviously at the top of that conversation.
So by the way, I Googled our question.
Yeah.
Ichiro Suzuki was apparently MVP and Rookie of the Year.
Really?
in the same year. So
I'd forgotten he was an MVP. I don't really, he was a rookie.
I know.
But
Then
come on.
that's what I was just thinking. I'm like, well, where do you fall on that one?
Well, technically he's a rookie because it was his first year in the big leagues. But when you come from solid competition in Japan after playing there for 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it was he played over there, I don't really consider him someone that's a candidate for Rookie of the Year. He did get Rookie of the Year, and he was. But when you're 27 or 28 years old with that kind of background, and you come here and you're competing against someone who's 21, 24 years old, really in his first major league season, I don't think that's a fair race, to be honest with you. But that's the way they do it. I guess that's the only way you can do it.
1-1 pitch here to Fisher in their first strike. Well, it's interesting because on the other side of the diamond today, in that Astros dugout, is Yulieski Gurriel. Not in the lineup today, didn't play today. But Gurriel, he's like, what, 32 years old? And technically, he would qualify in that rookie race.
I would pretty much put him in the same conversation with Ichiro in that regard. He played not quite in the same caliber that Ichiro played in Japan, but Cuba plays nice baseball, and he's played a lot of it over there before he ever got here. And at his age, a little bit of an unfair advantage to have that experience and be that age and be competing for the Rookie of the Year. And he's had a nice season, but it's going to be overshined by the other guys anyway.
Well, Bibbins Dirks with a couple of strikeouts in the 9th. And now last chance for the Rangers, coming up down by 9.
The 9th inning, Rangers on the short end of an 11-2 score as we welcome you back to Globe Life Park in Arlington. John Radigan, Mark McLemore here. Mac, what can we say on Rangers Live, presented by Frontier Communications, about this one here in a few minutes?
This is a tough one. There's no question about it. So the Rangers, what they're going to have to do is figure out a way to get ready for tomorrow. Get rid of this one, get ready for tomorrow.
Got to put it behind you. The tragic number, I guess it would be, will not have been exercised yet. So there will still be a chance when we join you on the postgame edition, no matter what happens in the 9th, and then when we join you again tomorrow for Rangers Live, the pregame edition. But for now, Dave and Tom, you guys take it the rest of the way.
All right, thank you, fellas. Indeed, there is still life, still hope. Michael Feliz is on here, though, in the 9th inning for the Astros.
Yeah, Michael's a guy that we've seen a lot of. You play the Astros 19 times a year, it stands to reason you'll see some guys a lot. We seem to see him quite often. Big, strong guy with a great arm, mid-90s fastball.
Willie Calhoun gets an at-bat here tonight, and this is a good one for him against a very difficult right-hander in Feliz. shot foul the other way. 1-2 the count. Calhoun came up, got a hit in his first big league at bat. But playing time has been difficult to come by for him, as to have been the hits. 0 for 13 since that base hit, and shoots this one down the left field line, slicing away and in the seats. Calhoun, though, the big get for the Rangers in the deal that sent Yu Darvish to the Dodgers, and a guy who, by all accounts, will be a very good hitter. He's been a great hitter in his minor league career, and people who have followed him for a long time and watched him develop feel like he has the skill set to translate at the big league level. And getting a first taste of it this year in a call-up. He's a cool customer, man. I tell you what, he's never seemed rattled or like the situation or stage is too big for him. That's for sure.
No, I like the way he makes contact too. He figures out how to get the bat on the ball. He's not a strikeout guy. In his 2 minor league seasons, the last 2 years, he's struck out somewhere around 60 or 65 times in both seasons, and that's with over 500 at bats. He also hit with power.
Two and two the count. Well, they're leaving that left side of the infield wide open for him. Works the count full. Oh, look at that.
It's funny, you look at the infielders and where they're playing, then look at the outfielders. They're playing them the other way. They're playing them to left field. So pull if he hits it on the ground, and the other way if he hits it in the air. Well, no matter where you're playing if he walks.
Those are tough to defend.
The shortstop, Bill Gosselin.
Willie aboard to start this 9th inning. Hey, tomorrow, another reminder. During our broadcast here on Fox Sports Southwest, excited to be auctioning off some really cool items. And all the proceeds going to go to benefit those affected by Hurricane Harvey in South Texas and Louisiana. The items up for bid are now on foxsportssouthwest.com. I encourage you to go check it out. There's some really cool once-in-a-lifetime stuff on there. Go check them out. Get yourself registered. That way tomorrow when the bidding begins at the start of Rangers Live at 6:30 tomorrow, you can jump right in and start bidding. We mentioned earlier one of the cool ones, Tom. Here's another one. And again, this is the great benefit of being in such a big organization like Fox. But there's a long-standing show that Fox has run for many years that has been pretty successful called The Simpsons. And
you say that like I've never heard of it.
This is, listen, I know for a fact that you've heard of it. But this is cool, man.
Okay, what's your best guess? Have I ever watched a full episode?
Yes, you have.
Wrong.
Come on, Tom.
Well, I hate to admit it, but I have never watched a full episode. And I've watched parts of it, but I never watched a full episode. Which is surprising because I think it's my old partner, Josh Lewin. I think it's his all-time favorite show.
Well,
so
that I don't
feel
doubt.
kind of guilty. You know, if you've got a partner for a long time and that's his favorite all-time show, you kind of owe it to him to at least watch one of them. I never did that. Sorry.
I think you would enjoy it.
Okay. Well,
I mean, once or twice.
I could catch some replays.
They do replay those a few times. Yeah, they're all over the place. So Nomar Mazara here takes a strike. So how about this though? There's a Simpsons table read. So 2 people. Now, by the way, the Simpsons in its 30th season. So you get to go with the cast of the crew of the Simpsons. You get airfare, a night stay at the Intercontinental Century City, and you'll go to the table read. And anybody who has any interest in Hollywood and how all that stuff works, I mean, you talk about a once-in-a-lifetime really cool opportunity. To sit there at a table read as they're going over a script and through a show concept, I mean, that would be a riot.
That would be.
Zara lifts this one out into left field. Might not be playable though. Long run, and Kemp can't get there. That one go for a long strike. So anyway, that's just sort of the stuff. You know, a round of golf with Pudge on there. That anyway, I don't want to give it all away. You should go check it out. Go to the website.
Yeah, a round of golf with Pudge would be great. Pudge is a good golfer.
Oh, he's
really good. Yeah. And he's fun, funny, entertaining.
One, two. That'll even things up. Yeah, so a lot of really cool stuff. Tomorrow's going to be a fun night. A great night to be a part of something special and an opportunity to make a difference in some lives. Folks hurting down in Houston and in South Texas. This one line foul again. And of course, for the winning bidders to get something pretty cool out of it. So looking forward to tomorrow night. Also, got a good pitching matchup in tomorrow's game. Keuchel against Cole Hamels. Two-two pitch. And Mazara strikes out swinging, 2 away here in the 9th inning. Beltre is going to be done. Ryan Rua announced as the pinch hitter here. Rangers are down to their final out.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. For the Rangers, number 16, Ryan Rua. Pinch hitting for Adrian Beltre. Ryan Rua, number 16, pinch hitting for Beltre.
Rangers 76 wins, 79 losses this year. Had hoped for a real good hot stretch on that last road trip and a chance to really climb maybe even into that final wild card spot. The killer was they were swept in Oakland the last 3 days, and while that happened, the Twins, who haven't dominated lately, but they won their 3 games. They were playing the Detroit Tigers. They won their games.
They dominated those 3 games.
They dominated those guys, and that was a 3-game swing right there that really kind of the gut punch for this Rangers team. 1-1. Strike 2 on Rua. There were so many nights where the Rangers would win one and the Twins would win. Rangers would lose one and the Twins would lose. And then finally, a little separation over the weekend. 1-2 pitch, and Rua fights it off. Michael Feliz trying to finish it for the Astros. Colin McHugh went 5 innings, and James Hoyt, Tony Sipp, Tyler Clippard, and Feliz, everybody for an inning. Back of their starter in the 1-2 pitch. And this one lifted out toward right field. Heading foul down the line, and golly, that cannot be fun.
That's the same one that Shin-Soo had earlier in the game. Fisher just had one there. It's so hard because you're right next to the wall. You just can't tell whether it's going to come down and be catchable or hit the railing or go into the stands. And it's just you feel like you have to duck out of the way, because if it just glances off the railing, it come down and hit you right in the face. Got a little smile on his face. Looked like an easy play, but it really wasn't.
Rua strikes out swinging, and this one is over. 11-2 the final score, and a tough one tonight for the Rangers. Well, John Radigan and Mark McLemore will be back here momentarily to bring you all the player reactions and analysis from this one. For Tom Grieve and Emily Jones, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. Our coverage of Ranger baseball continues right after this.